And welcome.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Is it echoing back? So I'm looking for some earphones. I'm ripping my house apart.
No, no, no. You're good. You're good.
You
It
sure
sounds
about that? It's not
yeah.
making no echoey.
No, I'm not hearing any. How about you? How about you, Matt?
What you saying, Claire? Claire, 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 Claire.
I have earphones, but it looks like my husband's nicked them and they're gone.
Dear, dear.
Welcome, Claire.
Thank you for having me.
I was watching your premiere earlier this evening. Very,
Oh,
very, very intriguing.
this was part of the team that I go out with.
Yeah.
As I say, I've run teams for about 10 years.
Hmm.
But someone else is running it at the minute. And yeah, what I do, I tend to go out and I record at the location we're at and I do document it. And that was part 3 of an inn we went to. It was really, really haunted. A lot of history with the highwaymen back in the old days. And obviously, they did the spirit board you could see, and they picked up a few of the people that were in that building back in the time. I think was it 14? It was quite old, wasn't it? Was it 16th century? I think so.
Mm.
But they were picking up spirits back from that time, and yeah, they were quite. It looks like he's turned my phone on as well. That'd be him because I don't use this phone. It's my paranormal phone. Yeah. So yeah, we did a spirit board and there was quite an aggressive spirit on it, but I didn't actually put my finger on that one. I stood back, but I think I sometimes do film parts of it and put it on because some people don't like watching spirit boards.
They don't like
So,
watching them.
no, some people are really like bored of it, but then some people are really intrigued. And I don't know. I see how the views go on that video.
I'm intrigued. I'm always intrigued. Like I said, I'm very skeptical. I mean, I've been investigating the paranormal for 25 odd years. So,
Yeah.
but I always bring anything into it. I mean, well, hey, look, much of it is theory based. So I mean, we have to educate, we have to bring everything into the mix to try to
Mm.
understand what we're dealing with.
See the way I work, people sometimes think, oh, you're a bit weird, but I have actually worked for over 10, about 12 years now
Mhm.
and learnt through spirit how and work on boards because some people said, oh, if you take your finger off the spirit board, you're breaking the circle, you're breaking the energy, you're doing this. I could put 5 boards in a row and I could make that spirit of 2 people, if we've got a really good energy, move over. You could take your finger off as much as you want. They're still going to be there. I've said to them, follow me around a location. I've actually carried my table in one arm and then the board in one arm, pull it down. They followed me through the building. Sorry, let me shut the door because my son's on the computer
It's a,
shouting.
it's like a night of partying, Matt.
Yeah,
You go from one party to the next
yeah, they
party to
can
the next
go,
party.
take your fingers off. They will follow me around the building. I will wait 20 minutes, even 15, 20, half an hour, maybe an hour. I will go back to that board. I will shove it on the side and say to the spirit, are you here now? And it just goes, vroom. I've done that for many years and I've learned that, they will come, they will follow you. If there's 5 people on a table and you take your finger off, you're not
Mhm.
going to lose them. They come back. So I even take my finger off and they say, oh, only one person's meant to talk. As many as you can talk. I think everyone has a way of working. Like my cousin's, she's a sort of white witch. She works in quiet. She works the opposite to me. She's very quiet. She doesn't like noise. She likes to channel, where I'm the opposite. I'm up, I build the energy, I bring the energy in. Spirit, like when we're talking to them, they drift. And I've learnt this through the board as well. Drift away. And our voices become very like distant and they drift and drift. And then they get a bit lost sometimes. So if you up your voice and up it, they come back. And I've learnt that through them as well. So
It's interesting
sometimes,
how you're bringing like
mm,
a sort of dimension to them. Like it's like three dimensional instead of just like one dimensional.
mm,
You're bringing depth to what you're experiencing, which is pretty cool. The most
yeah.
people have a hard time, conveying that.
See, spirits are. are all different as well. They're like us. They were here once, someone weren't here once, but the ones that I've communicated with are all different, and they all have characters, they all have personality. They're just like us, but without our this is our shell. This
Without
is our
the
shell.
physical shell, yeah.
Yeah, this is our shell. That's how I describe it, as our shell. But do you know the questions that I do ask them? And I always try. Last night I did it again. I was out doing a investigation in a museum called the Robin Hood Museum in Nottingham, and we had a child come through that died in a fire. Who was 16 years old, and he was his name was Charlie. He stayed with us through the night. He went from the other groups to the groups, and I was asking him about, can you see us? He said he could see all of us clearly. But then I've had some spirits turn around and say, I can see you, but I can't see him, which is really strange. So I can't work that one out. That's really strange as well. So some spirits can see all of us.
Mm-hmm.
But then some other spirits can only see 2 or 3 of us or one of us. And I'm like, this is so strange. And I'm like, but how have you haven't got eyes? So yeah, I think, and it baffles me, and I can't actually work out, how is this happening? It is quite, interesting. And that's why I do it, because you're learning, you're doing different things, and everything that I've learned is through spirit, and by questions, asking them, by communications on boards. And I believe, the way I work, I'm a bit crazy, but I'm a bit different. And I like
we're all crazy when we're involved.
I like being different. Some people wouldn't work with me. They refuse. They'd be like, you're too noisy, too loud. But I always get good communication.
Whoop.
I always build.
Sorry
I
about that.
I don't know what's going on there. I always build my energy. And I work different in different locations. Like abandoned locations, a little bit different. I have to work a little bit different. I can't sit and focus for long. I can't build the energy as long, where I can work for an hour. I can have a spirit build, sit on a table for 45 minutes and be working to build, and then it will work. I can't do that in abandoned locations because I've got to move out of them. I can sometimes be very, very lucky and put my thing down and bang, they're there. But other times they're not. I've got to work a little bit different. Matt's seen it. It's very hard, isn't it, Matt? It's very, very hard to work in abandoned buildings. But when you're in a set location, a hired location, you can work a lot different. So my videos will be very, very different because of the way that I'm working in a different environment, which makes a big difference to the paranormal you're doing. Plus, places that you go that are hired out, these places are being used again and again by paranormal teams. The spirits, a bit like puppets, they don't want to do it no more. They don't want to talk. They don't want to communicate. So it can be very hard. Sometimes they will sit there and want to do nothing. When last week a paranormal team went in there and they go, oh yeah, it was brilliant, it was so active. Another team walks in next week, dead, nothing there.
Dead, yeah.
It's in abandoned locations can be very flat. Sometimes you need to build energy in their work, or they can be great and have quite strong, good energies in. And I've worked that one out too. But it's all different, and it's all learning. And
it's really intriguing. I mean, abandoned locations, obviously most people will look at them and go, wow, that must be haunted. There must be a lot of stuff going on in there. And, I've talked to you a few times, Matt, because you've gone into quite a lot of these places. And that, it's not always, it's, never really anything going on. It's just a really cool historical place. And it's been sitting empty for God knows how long. But then you'll, walk into another place and all these, it may not be in your face, but maybe subtle stuff happening. Maybe in your face.
I'm online live.
Depends, right?
Sorry, my husband just walked in. He's Oxford's finest explorer, by the way. He's always at work. He's always at work all the time. He comes out with Matt, but he's like hides in the background. So yeah, it's me. It does all the talking. He's the quiet. Well, he ain't quiet, but when it comes to this sort of stuff, he is.
So Matt, what did you think that? Okay, so you two were at an old Welsh home. We're not obviously going to say too much, but Matt, you've released a video on it now, right?
I've not uploaded it yet, but
Oh, you haven't uploaded. Okay.
I've just been playing with it. I can show you sort of, you know, what I've done so far and what I'm seeing, but I can bring that up, you know, when the time is right. If you want to sort of bring in the story about it, you know, we can kind of maybe show a bit about it then.
Yeah, we had you guys on. You're doing you know, carrying out an investigation there, and what is it? The Hope Box? Hope? What was it?
Right. Well, it is. I've got an app on my phone. I can actually. Is it on this one as well? I think I put it on this one. Now, there's someone on YouTube called Hope. It's called Hope Box. I can't remember. I have to let me quickly get it up. Mm-hmm. But he has got a whole series of it, and let me check the name of the channel for you. It is actually just called Hope Box. Mm. Hope Paranormal, his name is. If you go into Hope Paranormal, okay. He uses a Hope Box. Now, he does a lot of things where he contacts different people and famous people using this device. Mm-hmm. And some of the evidence he gets is brilliant, and some of the evidence he gets obviously isn't, like with everything. And I thought, right, I'm going to use this now and see what I get. And sometimes I get absolute rubbish. I'm very new to it. I haven't used it a lot. But the other day I did use it in an abandoned house, and I got a man singing this sort of war. I don't even know what song it is, a war song to me. And he was a war veteran. So, and he was answering through this to me, and the answers sort of connected. But then I've used it again and things haven't connected. So it's like any other paranormal sort of device or techie stuff you use or apps. It's, you've got to decide if the evidence match up together and if it's worth using it again. Now, I try things and I like to try them again and again and see what I get that's different and work it out. You know, I do like to debunk things, and I am like quite skeptical sometimes of certain things. And like with Matt, the K2, sometimes I'm not quite, you know, K2s are good. I've had some great communication, but a way of debunking it is having 3 K2s in the room and them going from one to another. Obviously, I can do that when I'm doing an abandoned house. I'm not going to sit there because I've got to get in and out with K2s and try and working in the energy for 25 minutes to come along and start messing around with them. And it can take a long time. So sometimes when it goes off, I'm a bit, is it one of our phones? Is it something else? Is it a bit of our equipment? I'm quite, you know, with K2s, I'm quite funny. Unless I could sit there for a long time and have them all in the room, different ones everywhere, that it will go from one to one to one. Then I know it's spirit. I will say, yeah, that's spirit. But any other time, I'm a bit.
I was intrigued by it. I thought it was pretty neat, and that's why I was bugging you for more. I want to know more. That's cool. So, anyways, you guys were on, and you're carrying out an investigation, and not too much longer after I let you guys go on about you doing the rest of your investigation, there, a weird incident happened on the show live, and it happened so fast. And I'm sitting there going, okay, what just happened? I had to scroll through the YouTube live feed and say, okay, something did happen, but what? But Matt, you've got some stuff there. You've done some stuff. So
yeah, you've got a different poster behind you now. What, are you in a different room or?
No, same room, different poster.
Different poster. He moves the posters around. Okay, yeah. Well, this object that you got, I've been looking at it, and the more I look at it, the weirder it kind of seems, because the motion isn't what you'd expect. Like, I mean, I do vape all the time, for instance, and I mean, I've got a fan in my room, but if I do this, then you get used to the kind of general flow, and it's always a general flow.
Yeah,
you know, well, this little thing that you had, it sort of pops up on your chest, hovers for a second, it sort of comes up, hovers, then it goes really quickly in an arc, it goes whoosh like that, and then it goes slowly off to the side,
Mhm.
which is like, so it sort of comes up here, hovers, whoosh, down to the side. It's actually, if you flip it around, because it's actually going that way on the screen, but I mean, it
Yeah,
sort of pops up here and then goes
towards the poster.
that way. Yeah, it goes that way and down. But I mean, the motion is just weird, because it's like sort
It
of
is weird.
comes up, hovers. Well, why would it stop if there was wind blowing? Blowing something around. Why would it sort of come up and stop, then whoosh, then slow down, then move up, at a different speed? So there's 3 different speeds involved.
I noticed that, Matt. I noticed it as well. And the weirdest thing, I'm gonna say this to you, I did actually say to Matt, it's really weird, because when I was in that room doing the paranormal, someone that come on your show, is it Gareth? I turned around to Matt and said, he came into my head, and the connection with you, I said, do you know what, Matt? He reminds me of Gareth. And he said, well, he used to go on his show. I went, oh, I didn't even know that. But it came straight in my head, and it was a weird, I do work with thoughts, but because I'm a bit hyperactive, I don't channel very well. But I did say to Matt, oh, that's really weird, because as soon as you come on, I just really strong feeling came in of that, which was really interesting too. And then you said that happened.
Yeah.
I thought that quite
when Matt mentioned that to me, that you had said that to him, that just totally threw me for a loop. I was like, wow, didn't see that coming at all. But
I got a very strong feeling. I just said it to Matt. I don't know. It's very, very strange. And then later on, I found out about this, and I did say to Matt, maybe it's him.
You never know, right? You never
trying
know.
to say we're here, and Matt maybe we opened something up, or you never know.
Yeah.
You never know.
I was asleep earlier on, and I woke up, and I thought nocturnal frequency radio, shit. And I thought, well, it's like it's 5 minutes to 10, and I was wrong, because it's actually 11 you were on, and I thought it's 5 minutes to 10. I'm sure I'm meant to be on, and then I thought, well, I'll speak. I better speak to Claire, and then you rang me.
It was.
And you rang me, Matt, and she said, like, she got it in her head as well. Like, I need to speak to Matt.
At the same time, we both got. Yeah. That's weird.
That is weird. Yeah, I mean, normally we're on at 9, which is 2 a.m. there. But I mentioned to Matt, I said we could always do it at 6. That's fine. Make it a lot easier for you guys. So
yeah,
I've had a lot of late nights this week, and I'm not used to this. I say I was out last night in Nottingham, long way away. I was out with Matt. That was a hell of a night. And then another night we were out, and I'm used to late nights, but not like 3 times in a week, literally. And I am tired. And I said to Matt earlier, because he said, oh, it's going to be 2 a.m. I'm like, what? I said, I'm going to crash. I'm going to be asleep in a minute. I don't know how long I can stay awake. But then he got back to me and said, oh, this is going to be yeah, it's on in a bit. Can you stay awake? And I went, yeah, I can stay awake for that. so I am tired and very run down, but I thought, yeah, I definitely can come on.
Well, awesome. Well, glad to have you on. Glad. Matt, did you want to cue up the whatever you have there?
Yeah. Well, I've got mine. Let me just see if I can share my screen.
Okay.
And we'll just do that. Present, share screen. Entire screen, that one. Right, so you'll see in a second. Right, you got it? Okay.
Good.
So let me just rewind it a minute. I think these are the ones where I ran it forwards and backwards. It makes it easier for people to see. It starts about here, where my arrow is, and it comes up and it whooshes to the right, goes up here, and then it moves off down in that direction. So see if you can see it. So there it is, and it whooshes off, and then and I thought if I put it backwards, it helps you to see it a bit better, and then forwards.
Yeah.
And backwards. And forwards. And and backwards. So that's kind of how it is. What I was thinking of doing is superimposing a dot on top of it, so that it makes it easier for people to see the path. But what I was noticing, I'll show it to you again. Let me bring it back up. Is as you can see down here now, you see where I'm just sort of showing it appears.
Mhm.
So it appears, then it hovers and turns right hand. It's sort of like, so
It
it
just
pops
zips
up.
across.
Yeah, it goes up, hovers briefly, then zips to the right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it drops, zips to the right, and it's about this position at the moment, you
Yeah.
see?
Yeah.
And then it keeps going, and then you see it, and it comes up to about this point,
You know what that looks
turns right angles and goes
It
down.
goes down.
So look at that right angle. Look at that right angle there.
And it goes
Right
and
angle.
it's going
It looks like
towards
a part manifestation when they're trying to show themselves only a little
Yeah.
bit.
And it doesn't look like there's a lot there at that point, but when it slows down, it gets a lot sharper as well. So why wasn't it sharp there? It's because it was
yeah.
moving quickly.
It just
It's
looked like
sharp
a
there.
single piece of whatever, and then all of a sudden it just expands as it gets up and then shoots down.
Yeah. And I mean, you're not talking about a speck of dust here.
No.
This is a larger object. I mean, if you look at the size of these characters here,
Mhm.
which are probably a few inches high,
Yep.
this is a sizable chunk of something, which if it had blown up in front of yourself, you would have thought you'd see that
Exactly.
with your eyes, but you didn't see it. You saw
I
it in the
didn't see
monitor.
it. Saw it in the
Mm.
monitor when it shot by in the background. It almost at first it seemed like it was behind me, but when I watched it over and over again, it was in front.
Mm.
It's at
When
least
you-
it starts in front.
Matt, when you put it in under the picture, can we work out, is it like when it's sort of under the I know the other picture, the little one,
Mm.
you can sort of
Right-
see
right
the
there, right
shape of
there,
it
yeah.
there. I'm trying to see if we can work out if it's part of a face or.
Yeah, that's
I
what I was
don't
trying to
know.
figure out.
As soon as I see it, I thought, whoa, that is quite strange.
Mhm.
Now
And
this
the way
is
it went round.
Yeah.
This is the stuff that I'm interested in, because I've said to people in the past, I'm not so much interested in these kind of things where you have you take a flash photo and you get all these specks.
Yeah, exactly.
What I'm interested in is you sometimes ghostly you get these ghosts appear
Mhm.
and they move through a scene and change hard angle. And basically, if you take the time it would have taken them to go through that frame, you're talking about like 50 miles an hour. So something just went,
Whoa.
through the frame because you took a photo and it went, and it's making a hard angle. And I've even seen photographs where something comes in, turns, goes whoop, loop to loop, and then goes out. So the speed required for something to do that, in a frame of a photo is phenomenal. It's faster than you could do with your finger. Like going, you couldn't even do that because, this thing's producing a tight little turn,
Down
all in one frame. And that's very interesting. I think those are more interesting than these little specks of light. It's when something is showing motion. Now, what you got here is weird motion.
Exactly.
Motion that doesn't add up, sort of like something pops
Yes.
up, hovers,
Hmm.
whooshes, and then goes slow.
I know.
That's what's interesting.
I mean, obviously, the first thing people will say, dust. You have some dust there, and I understand that. I mean, light reflecting off the dust, you're going to get that, and that's my automatic thinking in the beginning. But watching this over and over and over again, and
It is strange.
watching its flight path, and how it moved, it like I said,
It also looked like it sort of, this is why I say it's like a manifestation. It sort of went a bit more, and then that's what it looked like. When something's starting to manifest, partly manifest, go up.
Yeah.
And I've done a lot of filming in my time. Now this is one of quite in 10 years videos that I've seen quite good, and I've seen a lot. Like Matt said, he likes stuff like this.
I mean, if it was a piece of dust, it was a massive piece of dust. I mean, you're talking like a clump, a huge clump.
And I would have seen it. I would have seen that.
Yeah.
And
you've also told me that you had a fan which was blowing in the wind in the opposite direction.
No fan, no, just the air duct. The air duct is by the window where it was headed towards. And I'm like, okay, the air's on, it would push it away. It would go the other way. If it was dust, it would be coming towards me. It wouldn't be going towards it.
Just going against the airflow.
It's going against the airflow, and that's another reason why it was intriguing to me, because like I said, I would normally just knock it off as some dust or whatever else, but the flight pattern was irregular. It just didn't make any sense to me. Right?
Yeah,
it was very strange.
I think it is unusual. Yeah,
very strange the timing it happened as well, while we were doing some calling and stuff like that, which was very, very strange.
And Jordy mentioned this before. He said, yeah, when it was going along the poster part.
Yeah.
You know, it's all okay. What is it? I mean, it's got some sort of outline. It looks like it has some sort of outline. And
well, if anything, then it would have been, if it were dust, right? I'm going down that avenue. Then it was 3 pieces of dust that was spinning. Would have been spinning in the air like that. But I mean, when do you ever see a clump of dust that big flying through your room? Ask yourself that question. How often do you see that?
And especially with everything's settled down. I mean, I'm not moving around, and I'm not slapping or banging or anything like that. That would make dust unsettle. So, but yeah. Sorry to cut you off, Matt. Sorry.
No, I just don't think I've ever seen a large clump of dust like that flying through my room ever.
No.
Flies,
no,
you know.
I don't think that's dust,
but not like a huge thing, you know. And when I see things, they're not sort of going like this and then they go woof across the room, because that would catch your attention, wouldn't it? When have you ever seen a speck of dust come across in front of you and then go whoosh, and then sort of, you know, and then do a right angle? It's like, imagine a piece of dust in front of you. It goes like this, whoosh, in a curve, then goes across, then a right angle.
It's like it was moving around something. That's what. Very weird. It's really a good bit of footage.
So my next footage, Claire, or sorry, my next question then, Claire, is, do you think that this could possibly be tied somehow to what you guys were doing? Do you think there might have been some sort of transfer of energy or anything like that?
Something opened up, didn't it? It opened something up. I believe it opened something up. And it might not have been here, but something around you was able to get your attention. That's what I believe. But I don't know what Matt thinks. But I believe that you have got something around you, because of the thought I got was really strange that came in as well.
Yeah, that is.
And out of the blue, and I heard your voice, and I read energy. I'm an energy worker. I read people. I'm always positioned my head like this on energy. I've had it since a very little child. I've learned to live with it. And as I say, as soon as I heard your voice, I wouldn't have even had to look at you. I can pick what person you are. I can pick a lot of things out about you. Now I've done that since a child. And as soon as I heard your voice, I started to get that thought coming. I haven't even seen your face because I wasn't looking over the camera. I had to go when I got home and have a look and see your video to see who you were, because but I pick up just by voices, energy. And, you know, I believe in energy, and I believe in with what we were doing, definitely sent energy and did something. Definitely. I'm quite, you know, I was quite shocked when I see it. I was like, whoa.
Now the thing is, after we finished the live stream, so we were there and you were watching what we were doing. I think we'd stopped actually live streaming at that point, and me and Claire carried on. You know, so we were carrying on. So this would have been at the same time as you were talking in the show and carrying on. And it was a few minutes later, if you remember, Claire. I think you know. Tell me if I'm wrong, if my memories are wrong here. But we had this big coldness came into the room.
Oh yeah, I've yet to go back in my footage. I started to feel. I even said to Matt, "Temperature's dropping in the room." I wish I had my little temperature game for me.
I think
Slight,
that was just before we left you guys, because I do
Ah,
slight
remember you.
dropping.
I do remember you guys saying that it's
yeah.
getting like you started out by saying it's getting cold and
It was
then
quite a
and the
sudden
clearing.
change.
Yeah.
And the
It was
funny thing
mostly,
is, it was cold on my front and on the fronts of my hands and everywhere on the front of my body, which was facing Claire,
Mm.
but it wasn't cold on the back. It was just my front went
well,
cold and everything on my front, like as if somebody was pressing against me or from that direction, which was weird.
I'm not going to lie to you guys. I just got touched and I do feel spirit. Something just come across my hand again. It's freaked me out then. Now, I'm very, very sensitive and open to spirit, and I always have been. I remember since a very little child. And I do feel spirit touch. Say I'm energy work, I feel it. And that's how I work. When spirits step in, vibrate, tingle, I get weird sensations which I've always had all my life. Something just came up to me and brushed across my hand. You know, people think it's bizarre. I've lived with it all my life, so I know what I'm talking about. You know, I struggled with my childhood with it because my mum would think I'd lie, and I was just couldn't cope around too many people because when you read people, and kids aren't very nice, are they? These children were quite spiteful. My brain's going. I never fitted in at school. I never could really cope in schools or in like places with crowds because of it. And as I say, you're just talking again. Something's just brushed against my hand, and it's freaked me out a little bit. Yeah, when I'm in doing my paranormal, like last night, and I got 3 large taps on my shoulder, it made me absolutely jump because it's the strongest I've felt all my life. Yeah, yeah, I do feel it, and people do think I'm weird, and I'm like, you know what? I know what I feel. If people can't accept that or know that, you know, I've got some kind of gift, and I don't know how I got it. I was born like it. And you know, I'm going to tell you when I've stood there, if I'm on a paranormal and guest vote, something's touched me or pushing me, you know, the feeling you get, Matt, I don't know if you get it. Some people get it and you feel you're being pushed if you stand still. I don't know if people get that or it's just me. But I know when spirit are there because you start to get very swayy and then the temperature drops and then you start to feel a bit, sometimes people that just can't deal with it get a bit sick and then you have to get them out of the building. But I don't get the sick bit. They put it on me and take it off me.
I felt like a claustrophobic feeling, and it feels like the air pressure has changed in the room, and also it's felt like all the sound has kind of disappeared because you can hear all the sounds in the street outside cars, and then it's like all the sound has gone down, so it sounds like it's just you and the people in front of you, and that's all you can hear. It's like you're kind of compressed into this like bubble. I've had that before.
It's your sentence that senses been heightened. You're tuning, you're grounding, and it's like you're starting to feel everything around you. And you do, it changes. I know what you're on about, Matt, and you hear everything outside. I know, it's a very weird change. I get that, and I'm like that quite a lot. But that temperature change in that house dropped very quickly. Very quickly.
Nissan asks, any roads near to the window, Steve? Maybe light reflection from a vehicle. And yeah, I did take that into consideration, but no.
Have you tried to thingy this? Like, have you moved stuff around the room? If you try to make a bit of dust,
yeah,
with
reflection, everything with the cam on, like it does present stuff, but nothing like what was recorded that day. No, not at all. I mean, it's entirely different. Like the reflection will transfer straight across onto the back wall and then over, where this was in front of me. And as Matt pointed out, the way it shot up and then shot over and then went down, it just doesn't make sense, it being the reflection from a vehicle driving by.
Can I ask you, did you feel any different? Did you get any senses, any feelings? Did you feel anything when this happened?
I didn't get sense wise. I didn't get any senses. And let me tell you, I'm psychic. I'm as psychic dumb as they come. But no, I did not get anything strange, unusual, other than okay, something happened and I reacted to it, and okay, what was that? It just doesn't make any sense. It's out of the
So you
ordinary.
didn't feel emotional. You didn't
No.
get any bad feeling. You just felt.
I mean, I would be freaking you out right now, Claire, if I said, it's funny, I was thinking about Gareth at that point. That would freak you out right out, wouldn't it? Because I
No,
mean, that's something,
because no, it's
but
strange.
that's not the case. No, I mean,
just turned around to Matt and said it, and
yeah,
it's strange.
yeah,
Very
like
strange.
that when Matt mentioned it, like I said, it just threw me for a loop. I'm like, wow, I did not expect that at all, but neat.
And it's even weirder because Matt said to me earlier, because I'm a bit dizzy and I don't know where people are from, but he said Canada.
Yeah.
And my granddad was Canadian, he was born in Canada.
Oh, wow.
As well, which is more freaky for me.
Yeah.
But,
well, do you know where in Canada he was born?
No,
or from?
I don't know. My dad passed away last year, and I've got some bits of his, and and then my sister told me that you do know that if our dad had got citizenship, we could have got somewhere where we could have gone into Canada, but my dad didn't do it, and I was like, oh, I'm gutted. But yeah, he was born there.
I'll say one thing: Canada doesn't have the great history. I mean, it has history, but it doesn't have anything near as close as what you guys over there in terms of places to investigate.
Mountains.
Well, that's on the West Coast.
That's where my husband wants to go, Rocky Mountains.
Yeah,
keeps going on about it. I bet it's creepy around that area at night.
Oh yeah, like especially close to the border, close to the Alaskan border, which is U.S., but close to that border with the Yukon up there, it is extremely creepy. Extremely. Like you have a lot of abandoned gold towns, mining towns, things, because I mean everybody knows the Yukon and how they had the gold rush years ago, and people were like killing each other to get this stuff, and there's a lot of history there, a lot.
So there's going to be a lot of spirits around there.
Exactly.
Then.
But
secrets as well, probably.
Yeah, but unfortunately, again, getting into these places, it's not easy here. It's ridiculous. It's not lax like it is in some places in the States. I don't know what it's like there, Matt. You're saying you can literally, go into a place.
Yeah, we went to four places up in North Wales.
Yeah.
One of them, I opened the door and I said, the door's open. And I said, now everybody's going to think that we've opened this door, but look, you can't close the door because the door is swollen. You can't even close the front door. So it's like, and then the other one, it's like the doors and windows were open all over the place, and it's, you don't expect it, do you? You think like an abandoned premises, that it would be secured and, somebody's going to be looking after it, and there'll be some care taken, and it's like it's crazy the amount of times we turn up to places and it just like walks straight in.
Just let them go, and you're shocked because I live in a rented house, and it isn't my house, and I couldn't imagine having a big house like that one we walked into the other day. Matt, I just don't understand how places left or what the families do or can't be bothered, or I don't get it, because
you said everything was left as is, and what was it, appliances still in the box?
Yeah, it looked like they'd had appliances delivered. They were in the boxes.
Yeah, brand new, wasn't it?
And like then the person must have just disappeared, like after receiving these things without ever having them plumbed in.
Yeah, brand new. Was it a washing machine?
Washing machine and a dishwasher and
everything.
Yeah, and who leaves the house and leaves all their clothes and all their personal belongings and photos and everything.
It was weird.
So the only thing I can think of is like a spontaneous quick death or something like that, or being taken to hospital and never coming out of hospital, or perhaps somebody was in that house, got dementia and had to be taken to Yeah, yeah.
Behind.
Had to be taken to a home and never came back. But it looks like somebody was literally plucked out of the place. Because it's weird. But then you have to say, like, do people leave these places behind because they don't want to let them go because they have sentimental value to the family, and everyone wants to believe that their relative will come out of the home and go back and live there, and it doesn't happen. So
No,
these
it's
places get left for years, and this is the problem. I mean, it's in limbo. Nobody can dare sell the place because it's like, oh, but that's granddad's or that's mum's place. We couldn't sell that because mum's still alive. She would kill us, and it's yeah,
sometimes
but
they're
then
not alive though, are they? They go in the family, like the one near me, Matt. We went there with Kaylee Colston. You know that one, the fisheries, the families, the family, I think the children of that, when the parents passed, had that, and they just couldn't bother to do nothing with it. So
some people look the other way. I think it's kind of like they would rather avoid dealing with it. Some people are like that. Not everybody is like that, but some people are. They kind of the emotional disturbance of having to deal with it. The fact that it's going to bring up a lot of emotions again. I think people kind of, we'll deal with that later, and it becomes, next thing is years, several years, and they're like, oh yeah. I mean, it's happened in my family. There was a house that belonged to my grandmother, and that was abandoned, and that would have been classed as like a really old. You would have classed it as a really old time capsule. You go in there, and it had old iron fire that you put pots on.
Oh wow.
Not like an
Wow.
Aga. It was literally like you put pots on there. I remember going there once, and she literally got the fire going, and she got the kettle on this metal sort of thing. And it was, the flames were open. It wasn't like what do they call them? Like a metallized where you put the wood inside.
Yeah.
It was it was literally just a metal frame.
Metal frame. Yeah.
A metal frame, and you put all the wood underneath, and you put your kettle and pots on top, and you cook like that.
Yeah, like one of the houses that the old houses that we have investigated over the years. Same thing in the kitchen. They have like a metal oven. And literally, like you said, just a frame, and it's got the metal plates, and you put the wood in, light the fire. Poof, there's your heat for the house, and there's your your heat for cooking.
And these places are in a hell of a state. And but people back then, they didn't have the same sort of standards because they didn't paint their walls every year and have brand new furniture. They lived with what they had, and these were people who were like coming from before the turn of the century, like they'd been talking like back into the late 1800s. They'd have had that house and living there the whole of their life, up till the 80s, so like to 80 years of age, and then they pass away. You go in there and it's like going back in time.
Matt, have you got photos of that house that we done with the rocking horse?
I didn't take photos of that one. I took photos of the next one. Yeah.
And that was one of the houses that you did the same night.
And I mean, talk about blast from the past. We went to the hanged man house, where the guy hung himself. And I mean,
that house,
wow.
I've got a video of that.
Wow, that was
there,
just like, that was so ancient, that house. You could see it. There was no way, there's no mod cons in that house apart from the electric. It was the design of it, everything about it was like, wow. People were living in the past. We're in the like 2000s, and this guy's living in a house that looks like it's come out of the 1900s.
Matt, play the video again, because some people are like lots of questions going on. Play it a couple more times, just.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So let's rewind back a bit. Here we go. So this is the forwards and backwards version. So here we go. It comes down, and it goes back, and zips down, and then there you go. There's two very distinct speeds going on, you know,
Different, aren't they? Completely different.
yeah. And I mean, let's just go through it again. This is what I mean is like down here is where it starts. You can see it there. It starts there, and then it jumps. It jumps up
It
to
does
this
jump.
position, about here. So it jumps up to about there. Then it turns right angles and comes down at that angle. So if you this is backwards, so it's coming up, 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 up. Then it jumps sideways, and there's no like curve. It's like bang. It's doing a different direction. It's like coming up, bang, different direction. You know, so it's like, you know.
See, I definitely think that's a manifestation.
I think there's something going on there as well because of the motion, you know, and it's very quick as well. You know, if I play it at real time speed, this is me going slow. If we play at real time speed, it's like, you know, for something to change, it's a hard angle change. Watch the change of the angle now. It's like one speed, then another speed. It's like whoosh, slower.
Scarface
You know what I mean?
is asking for full screen.
Yeah, it's
blow it up a little
whoosh.
bit.
Yeah, is it? Okay. So it's whoosh, change angles, change speed. Whoosh down. So that, yeah, it's a strange one. It's
I don't think that it is. It changes size. It's like you see through it. It's like it looks like a side of a face.
Could be.
I mean, it seemed to get bigger. It was like when it was close to you, it was small. When it was moving away, it got bigger, and as it came down, it was even bigger again. So it was expanding. It was like as if it was morphing, and it looked like there was some sort of change of shape as well. It was something that was sort of doing this. Yeah.
It looks to me, I know I could be completely wrong, but when I looked, it looked like a side of a face, like a side part of it, manifestation, a side of a face. But then I could be completely wrong, but that's what I picked up. If it is very strange.
You know what? I'm interested to hear your thoughts on something, Claire. I want to play something for you. I played it for Matt, but I want to play it for you.
Yeah.
I want your thoughts on this, and let me know what you think you might.
Can I get it up? Okay. Sorry, I've got a bit of a wonky tripod.
That's okay.
I'm looking down. I should have done it lower, but I had to quickly grab it.
We're all born different, Claire.
I'm very different. I agree. I don't care. I'm unique.
Okay, here we go.
You've got a kid's voice talking. They were saying something to you. They were giving you a message. That is amazing. I've had kids. That is crazy. I can't work out what she's saying if I had earphones on.
Nobody can. It's hard to make out what she's saying.
I could probably break that down because I'm very good with my ears when I've got earphones.
Yeah.
And I do a lot of editing where I listen to radios with loads of crap over the top of it, and I have to break it down. I've got an ear for it now. I've done it for a long, long time. And if I had that on earphones, I probably will go back on this video with earphones now, and I will try and slow it and break that right down for you. See if
I've had it in reverse. I've played it, slowed it down.
You've got to have an ear for it.
It sounded to me, you know, like you get these like Latin singers where they go Domine so si me o yo so do do do. Yeah, it's almost like as if she was singing something like a prayer. Like Lord to me be okay. Also, you know, may the Lord say do 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 do. Yeah,
could be like the
way the gap is
prayer.
It did say it did sound like she was not just talking to someone, but like you said, the way it goes, do 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 do. I know what Matt's on about
Mm-hmm.
because I can hear
Because
That's
that too.
intriguing. Yeah, I haven't heard that one
didn't
yet. So
Because there's a big
didn't
pause. There's
sound
a
like
pause.
yeah, it's like she's pausing for
Pause.
the next part and
Yeah.
the next part, and she's changing inflection in a way which wouldn't be natural, because it would be like me speaking to you now and going then that I go now like
You can
this
hear
to
that.
you. Yeah.
The pitches are
It was
changing. Yeah,
you know,
that's
it's
it.
like there's a pacing and a change of pitch. It's like she's singing something.
here, I'll play it again. Hold on.
It's I can't hear. I wish I had earphones. I swear I heard something about going home again.
I swear she's singing. She's
She's
singing.
saying about home again. Something we're going home again. I need to get that on my earphones. Something about going home again.
Could
Definitely
be.
at the front. There, she definitely says something going home again.
Could be. Could
Definitely.
be.
I don't know what location you were in.
It was it's an old farmhouse that has been renovated into a museum to give people a glimpse of what life was like at the turn of the century on a farmhouse, living on a farm in Canada. And yeah, they've had subtle incidents happen there, and they called us in to investigate it.
So was this farm? Was it on? Did over in Canada? Did they have the mines down there as well? Did they?
Not in that
What did
particular
they have
area, no.
underground there?
They didn't have anything underground there.
No.
No. Even for building materials, nothing. They have a basement, and that's it. There's a basement in that.
Very strange.
Yeah, in that farmhouse, there's a basement.
Oh, is there? That's why I probably got that.
That's weird. Tick 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 tick.
Yeah,
tick,
what
tick
is that?
sound?
That is.
Claire, mute yourself, Claire, for a second.
How do I do this? It's probably my stupid computer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's on your end. Yeah.
It's probably it's breaking.
Is it a fan or something? Fan noise.
Sounds like it might be.
No, it's spirit. I'm joking. I think that little girl, it sounded like a child, was something about home again. Something about, if you could ask the people watching what they think, but I'm picking up something about home again.
Some people have said it does sound like melodic, and somebody
Melodic.
says it sounds like a prayer singing type.
Yeah.
It does. I swear I hear home again.
Oh, your noise has stopped now.
Yeah, it stopped.
Mm,
And somebody
that's
said,
good.
Definitely was a spirit sound.
yeah.
Yeah.
I wish I had the earphones. I just can't find them.
Yeah, it was definitely somebody singing. You know, they were singing a song, you know, to themselves, and
I could send you the audio file if you want.
Even if
Claire.
Matt could send me it in a clip, like on the WhatsApp, Matt, I can then get my iPad earphones and I can listen to that, because I definitely heard something about home again in that.
Nissan saying something about going home. Please take me with you.
I heard it.
Do you want to listen to it again, so we can hear that?
Yeah, it definitely says it.
Okay.
Mm,
I can't. Where's my bloody speaker on here?
okay.
Please. It says, take me home again, please. Take me home again, please.
I'm hearing like
Take me
I'm
home
hearing
again.
da na 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 da na na na
Yeah,
na na
definitely
na.
that.
Yeah.
Please take me home again. Da, 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 da. Like you said, yeah, definitely.
Like right off the bat, you get okay, maybe a song she's singing, or she's reciting a nursery rhyme, or as Matt's saying, prayer. You know, it's it's the weirdest thing.
It definitely says please.
Yeah.
I get my earphones on when if someone sends me it, I will break that down. I'll try my best anyway. But everyone's like, someone just wrote something up there and they've heard what I've heard. So
Yeah.
Lion 39 says, "Please take me with you."
Yeah.
Oh, Nisandori, yeah, saying, "Please
Yeah.
take me with you."
yeah,
So
definitely
there's a
got
few
please
people
in there.
agreeing with that. Yeah.
Some people are agreeing
It has
with
got
that.
it in there. So I've been listening to radio scanning. Like Matt says to me, you need to get a silencer, and I have to literally break down and listen. And I've learned I've got an ear for it now, and I can really sort of break things down. It just comes natural now.
Well, I find it one of the most intriguing areas of investigation. But I mean, how about you? Like, I mean, I know Matt was mentioning, you know, he likes the sort of the visual sort of aspect when you when you do capture things like as we did on that stream. And yeah, and that's a lot. That seems to be a lot more rare than audio. I mean, audio, it's amazing some of the audio that you're able to capture.
I love radios. I love the white noise. I love frequencies because I believe that they are. I don't know. I have to get this. Is it faster? And we're slower. But then we did have it come through on one of the radio scannings, Matt, the other day, saying talk faster, and I've picked that up in the prison. I'm very intrigued with white noise and sound and radios, and I believe, because I've done that for a long time, people don't like radios because it's noisy. But once you can cope with that and get used to listening, it is completely different. And that's why I sit and I listen, and I can do it for hours because I'm very intrigued with the evidence that I've had through. And yeah, you've got to be patient again, and you've got to deal with the noise. And I can do that, and I'm getting great stuff come through. I'm getting children, I'm getting people talking to it. I'm picking up everything, and it's amazing. And kids singing, even places Matt's took me. I've gone back in caves and heard children saying they hurt me, and you said slaves were in there, and I've got saying please help me. And in several places there's a lot of things that have gone on in them places. I don't know if it's they're stuck or they're asking for help to get out. I don't know. I never know that. That's a different thing. But I'm getting voices coming through the radio, breaking through the frequency and talking in sentences. And the other one I got Matt the other day saying I want to talk to Matthew. I've got that too. But you do have to listen. And sometimes we get it wrong when we're listening. We go, oh, it says this. And then I go back and it says something else. But yeah, that happens. That's part of it. But if you could put up with the noise and you're willing to watch, if you're in a really old house, you sometimes get the people that used to live there come through, or people in the area on the land. You know, it could be any of them things. Just because it's an old house doesn't mean it's people in the house. It's the land. You know, how many 100 years old, all the different centuries, it could be any of them.
Yeah, I mean this house here is probably what 20 years now. That's it. It's only 20 years old.
Mine's only 20, about 23 years old.
Yeah, and I've had tons of stuff happen here.
The land.
Yeah, but they probably built it on ancient Indian reservation with graves. You know, they're like,
well,
it's the gateway to hell.
Do you know what though? I'm really interested in the hauntings that they get to do with the Indians and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Really, really, really weird, because a lot of hauntings in America, not Canada, when I watch them stuff and to do with the black magic stuff and all the stuff of things that have been put on the houses, a lot of things when I watch it come back to the land, being drove off land and stuff like that. So that's really interesting. I really sort of interested in.
Yeah, you get quite a lot of it here. I mean, a lot of native
Yeah.
have roamed all of North America at one point, right? I mean, it was all of North America. There was no borders, obviously, back then, and some of the stuff, some of the stories that they, come with you to come to you with are just fascinating. They're just like the Wendigo
It
is
is
one
fascinating.
is really fascinating. This shape shifting, strange entity, if you will, creature, or whatever you
And
want to call it. It's just intriguing. And look at that. It's not just one person talking about this, one native person, but many. And
mm,
these are stories that were passed down and passed down. And sure, you get that in every culture, but I mean, it's just really it's very eerie and very intriguing at the same time. And it draws you in more because part of my background is Métis, which is half native, half French,
oh wow.
and I heard it quite often. I mean, I used to go to my great grandfather's house north of here, and he was still living in the Stone Age. Like you'd go there. He was living off the land. Dinner tonight is okay. Grab a chicken out of the coop and knock off its head, and hey, we're gonna pluck the feathers off. You're like, wow, okay, this is scary, But I mean, that's the way it was, right? That's how they survived, and it's a whole different.
It's different now, isn't it?
Oh, very different. Everyone is dependent on a system.
See, we've got here, like where we were the other day in Wales, it's just so many farms. I don't know how they live, but a lot of the older places I've been in, some of them have like not even got a proper kitchen. Like,
Oh, okay.
there's just and is it what's the Arga cookers?
Hmm.
And I look around, they're just being Arga in a room, and then nothing else. But I do find like a lot of potties, no toilets. Is it the old
Yeah.
potties?
Mm.
I've found sometimes the really old like toilets, and I mean Victoria going back, I found a few of them. I don't think I've seen like, I've been in them when they haven't got baths as well. So I've even stood there and looked around and go, there's no bathroom here. Well, how did they bath? And it must have been when they used to do it in the sinks and tins or whatever. I remember when I was little, but we did have my mum bathroom.
I've always been the one thing that's always intrigued me, and next year hopefully I will be flying over to the UK for like 2 weeks. Hopefully, I'm hoping, but I mean, I do have family over there because my mother's side is English. Her father was had family in the UK and northern UK and into even Dundee
Wow.
into Scotland, right? So I mean, it's always been a fascination of mine to go over and finally visit. But the one thing that's always intrigued me about the UK is the small little towns, the small villages that you pass through, and they might have like just a corner filled with buildings, and that's it.
Yeah,
They might have the pub and a whatever else and a gas station and blah blah blah, and then you blink and you're outside. You know, it's just, to me, that's fascinating. I mean, you do have that here, but it's not the same. I mean, you do have your small towns that are dying off now. I mean, remnants of an old bar and a gas station on the other corner, and say an old like corner store, and bang, it's gone. But here, that might have been from the 50s or the 60s, where there in the UK, we're talking about hundreds of years. Some of those small towns and villages, they've been there for hundreds of years.
There's lots of history over
Yeah,
here.
tons of history over there.
That house, though, Matt, we went in, like you said the other day, that farmhouse. Did you see how old the kettle things were on the old? It was a little while.
I didn't see a television in the whole place or a record
a lot of
deck,
places
or there was nothing in there at all apart from I noticed that the beds were all spring.
Yeah,
they were springs. So they were literally like spring mattress, you know, no mattress, just springs, metal springs. And then you put a mattress on top of that. So it was so old. You know, where do you ever see that? You hardly ever see any sort of like metal beds with just springs on them. You know, this guy was living in just like historical kind of conditions.
Definitely.
Like you mentioned, time capsule.
Oh yeah. That was a real time capsule. Yeah.
That was a real one. And, you know, there are a few here. I've been in a few over here. One of the best ones I went in was in Snowdonia in the Cloud House. A lot of people know about that one over here. And I think it's been really vandalized now, but I did some really good paranormal in that one. But that one was another one that had beds like that, Matt, and, you know, stuff that I've never even seen before, and was like, well, what's this? It's because they were living, you know, without like the things we've got our days in the olden days, and they've kept it and lived that way. I looked the history up of that place, so I did do a spirit board in there, and I did get a woman through, and I got some names, and I went back and looked at the history, and I picked up someone that lived in that house back a long time ago, and I was really happy. Because I do walk into houses and I really don't know much. I know a little bit about them, Matt. Like I say, oh, it's so-and-so was told me this, but I do go and look at letters or try and find photos. We can look on the back of photos and try and look at dates and stuff like that. But it is very interesting.
How was the outside of the house? Like, how was the condition of the outside of the house?
You've got a photo of that, Matt?
I could bring up a video of it. Show people that maybe.
I tell you what, that house, amazing, and where it was as well. And even Matt, you said it it's weird you said that. Oh, isn't it lonely? Because I even thought that last time I went there.
It was incredibly lonely. Yeah.
It give you that feeling, and you felt that feeling. Imagine how he felt. And he took his life. He felt lonely.
Yeah, I was doing documenting this old abandoned house here that was built in the late 1800s, and
hi Melissa.
Through its history, it had two events of suicide, both women, and at different periods in its time, and then the last one was oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go.
So that's the house.
Yeah.
And you know, that's the road to the house. As you can see, that's the grass. It's like the road.
Look at the sheep.
So cute.
Wow.
Overlooking a wonderful lake, but just so remote, you know.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you look at the you know, even the stones as sort of a barrier, you know, the fence, if you will.
Yeah.
You know, collecting the stones from around the property and building up a wall.
Do you want to see a little bit more of how crazy abandoned this place was?
Sure.
Right, here we go.
This house is unique. It is a lovely house.
So it had an old wooden, like not a wooden, an old like washing machine with a dryer, which was literally just like a press, you know, one of those mangles on the back, you know. So that's the dryer. But have a look at this now. You know, that's the kitchen.
Look at that.
Oh, that's me.
That's Claire.
Not me.
You know,
drained.
Look, old cooker. You know, look at all the old kettles and the old dryer, and you know, and look at that. You don't see cookers like that very often. I mean, that's like 1950s type cooker. Look at the stairs.
Oh, wow!
Look at the stairs.
No.
Look at that.
Holy crap!
I actually came down them stairs in my last video.
Yeah.
Mental.
And then, you know,
and it's got these stairs.
it's got another stairs, but this is where he hung himself, the bloke.
Yeah,
But I
the
mean,
room.
like, look, no television, no radios, just a
Nothing, yeah.
piano. You know.
Sad, so sad.
Wow.
But I mean, you know, you can tell that this place has been run down even when he was living in it. You know.
Well, yeah. He probably just health wise and
Yeah.
It looks lonely
money
as well.
wise.
It looks really lonely. Look at it. His coat's hung up
Wow.
there. His coat, his
Yeah.
jacket.
Jesus, look at that.
Yeah. Look at
that.
Like, there we are. Just an
Look at
old
the
chest
furniture.
in the lounge. Look at the old fire. Like an old electric heater, but an old fire, and the chairs. You know, like God knows what they look like
Mustard.
underneath there, but all, you know, all covers on the chairs, and yeah, a pantry.
Yeah, all the old.
Old
Wow.
pantry.
The old gas
It's
lamp.
like you think, what did he look? An old
What is
mangle. Look,
that? What is
Wow.
a
that?
mangle.
Oh
It's
yeah.
a mangle.
It was for wringing out what? Wringing out clothes?
Clothes, yeah. You put
Yeah,
your clothes.
wow,
You put your clothes
jeez.
through it. Look at the size of that thing.
How old do you think that was, Matt?
It's probably like 150 years old. I mean, that's
Yeah.
like that's
Oh,
Victorian.
wow.
That thing.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
years.
Yeah,
It's like a museum, isn't it?
yeah. But you just cannot believe that people live like this. You know, that they sort of lived in these conditions, and the stairs has gone through. But yeah,
Oh wow.
Through.
You
yeah.
do take
Look at the
risks.
Floorboards,
Jesus.
floorboards have gone through.
Oh,
And there's this bathroom which you probably don't want to get into.
yeah.
Yeah, probably don't want to go down there.
But just imagine if you had a little bit of, you had a lot of money and restored a place like this.
Here's the
Look at
bed.
the beds.
Look at
Oh,
that sprung
wow.
bed.
Jesus.
Wow.
Springs.
And is that a heat, like a heating?
No,
What,
no,
no,
it's just
no.
it's
What's
just,
what's in behind there? That
oh, this is
Yeah.
just a copper water
Water.
heater.
water
Yeah.
heater? Yeah.
Yeah. But like, look at this old Victorian like thing with a mirror in it. You know,
Yeah.
and these beds, like, you know, these. Wow. I mean, just like springs, just metal springs. Like every
Wow.
time you move, it goes creak, 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 crunch, 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 crunch. You know, terrible. But like,
These
Yeah,
medicines.
it's sad.
100-year-old
look at the medicines he had on his cabinet.
I
Look,
know.
Wow. Holy crap. Shake the bottle.
shake your bottle before taking it. Like,
Oh.
you know,
What was
One
that?
table
I've never seen
Wow.
anyone have medicines like that
magnesium
in a
yeah.
house. You know,
Magnesium injection.
Yeah.
injection that would have been inject yourself, like with a needle. You know, like do it
And
yourself.
we're talking probably that was probably what, the 30s?
You're joking.
Yeah.
30s maybe.
Where do you
Something
even
like that.
see that? Yeah.
Wow.
You know, this guy had this stuff. Look,
an
and
old dresser, folks.
yeah,
Like so do you know how long was this place abandoned for?
I don't know.
I don't know. I
Wow.
can't remember. I might have said it in my old video, but I put it up a
Yeah.
while ago, this video. And
Yeah,
then
look,
we took that
another metal bed.
This is the steep steps down.
That's
like
the steep
emergency
stairs.
steps.
I've never seen anything like that before in a
No.
house.
Bedroom.
Mm.
Steps, those folks.
Do you know what it looks like though, Matt? It's like he had some form of dementia or something, and he went a bit funny.
The metal bed, look, sprung bed, chains and springs.
Hmm.
Wow.
That's an old bed, isn't it? You could tell that's
Very
old.
old.
Like they of course they put all that inside a mattress these days, you know. But like they was external. It was just part of the frame of the bed, you know.
Potty.
Yeah, yeah, potties.
Look at that
Look at that
fireplace.
chair.
Wow.
Yeah,
It's so sad. It's sad when we're in these houses. Because I do feel it. But it's very good that we can document and see how people lived, because then we
Yeah.
appreciate what we got.
mm.
That's
I'm not the
incredible.
greatest climber.
You got your light on green as well, which shows to attract the spirits.
No, it's just I'm filming it. I do need to get a camera, but Do you know what? I put that in and it lightens up the room. People are happy to watch it because it's better than sitting in the dark.
I know, but you had it on green though. I was like, oh, is this like Ghostbuster mode? Like I get more
It is
spirits if I'm
Ghostbuster mode.
green.
Oh, it is. Do you know what it is, Matt? It's in Ghostbuster mode because on my last video I did, I couldn't get it
1953.
to Ghostbuster mode, and it took hours. And I give it one of the lads, and we stuck it on there, and he said, "Don't move it out of the green because you won't get it back."
Oh, right. Okay.
Was the piano working? I didn't.
No,
No.
all the keys were flat.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, I've seen about enough. I can let you do your ghosty thing, and I'm going to sit.
I
down in
didn't
the
do a
car.
ghosty thing. I just left. I've done it already.
Yeah. But there we are. You know, that's kind of like, it's extreme, isn't it? Like you
That's
just think to
crazy.
yourself, like, you know, this guy, when did he kill himself? Was it like 10 years ago or
Longer
10
than that, I think.
10 I was going to
20
say only
years ago?
even 20 years ago.
Like
I'm
in
gonna-
2000,
Wow.
in 2000, he was living like that, you know?
The stuff
It's
that
amazing, isn't it?
Wow.
What goes on behind closed doors, folks?
Yeah. That's just insane.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to say
That's just one of the
horror.
houses.
Just one of the houses. But that's the one that what stood out the most to you guys? You think?
One to me that I'll never forget because I first started exploring that was a couple of years ago. I went to that one.
Okay.
One to me that I will never forget. And there's only a few that I'll always remember that one because the views when it Matt, it's just it's felt surreal. It's from what I've been brought up, like, you know, you're there, you look up at that house, you're in all that surrounding all the animals, all the nature, the big lake that you couldn't see there. There was a massive big lake at the bottom of there that's huge. And it was
very impressive, you know, to look at. But from a practical point of view, you know, you just think, well, did this guy drive up there in a vehicle?
Yeah.
It would have to be a four-wheel drive, you know, you couldn't get up there in any other way. But then it's kind of like you're living in these conditions. I can kind of understand it in a way because, like I said, I've had family members, and they literally they live in the past, and it's what they grew up with.
Yeah,
So it's all they know. They don't know any different. And my uncle, you know, he would come to our house and to various other houses, and he would see what we lived like. But he went home, and it was just junk chucked everywhere. And like the kitchen was just archaic, and you know, he used to have a larder. I mean, how many people have a larder and they would keep food? You know, like we keep food in a fridge now, or we throw it away. They used to keep it in a larder because they knew what they could keep. They knew that this would keep for this long, and this would keep for this long, and they would put it out in the larder. We don't have that anymore. Nobody understands how food can be kept and what's safe to eat and what's not safe to eat. These people used to keep everything, you know, and so I've had people in my family that kind of live like that, and to them it means nothing. And they lived in the cold, no heating at all, just one fire. But when they went to bed, it was freezing cold, and they just like put the sheets on and went to bed and pulled the sheets up, and that was it. That's how they slept, you know. And you think, like, how could they live like that, you know? But they did.
And I mean, most of them too had like a regiment. They had like a schedule that they followed out with daily. You know, maybe you know, depending on where they are, the farming or going to the local town to pick up supplies, and but you know, doing and Claire, I guess going into some of these places, those echoes, if you will, those residual sort of imprints come out all the time.
It is, you feel. I feel, like I said, in every house has a different feeling, and I feel sadness too in them houses, because you think, don't you, Matt? Well, you know, well, they've lived like this. And you said about being lonely. I think all that all the time, and you wonder what's happened. And I've been into a few houses where I've found where someone's died in the house, and you can still see their imprint on the bed. I've been into about 2 or 3 of them, and they're the saddest ones. When you go in there and think, well, how long were they on their own? And they had nobody, and were they really poor? It all goes through your head. It is quite sad. And, you know, it goes back home with you, and you do think about it, and it stays with you for a while. And yeah, it is quite you know, it is sad at times, but it is also, you're learning about life, aren't you? And you need to learn to appreciate what you've got. And it opens my eyes, definitely opens my eyes.
Have you been so overcome by that? Ever?
You're gonna make you laugh. Yeah, we've walked into houses. My husband, then Matt, you're gonna laugh at this. He's burst into tears in the house before. And he's like, well, yes, he has. He won't admit it, but he has, because he's gone in there and it's been very sad. And he's just gone boom, for no reason. And, you know, I've gone in and I've got emotional and felt really bad and felt sometimes I shouldn't be in here. And yeah, but he won't admit it. I don't even know if he's watching downstairs, but yeah, he's gone into a house and he's come over all funny. And I sometimes think he's a bit of an empath. And he's picked up on the spirit in the house sometimes as well. But yeah, he won't admit it. And he shuts out things like paranormal stuff. And he says, no, I'm not. And that, but I picked up on things. But yeah, it is quite emotional, depending how tuned in you are. You know, sometimes it can't be helped. Like Matt, you probably walk in and out and just, but then boom, something might hit you. You might not think that was going to happen. You know, it is. And every house.
Brady's quite sensitive, isn't he? And you know, when we were in that prison, and you both went into that room, and you both had like a big reaction, like in a particular room, and yeah.
I think we're all.
I've got the clip actually. I can show it if you want.
It was horrible in there. Someone had definitely gone in there. I think someone took their life in there. That's. If I'd been able to do paranormal in that room for a long time, spent a good hour building energy for 45 minutes, I would have got probably a lot in that room. But I didn't have time. We had to get around.
I had, working with a sensitive who, we were at an old pioneer cemetery that was attached to the home. That was the family members had been buried in. And this is probably, you know, it was in use up until maybe the early 1900s. And a majority of the family that's buried there are children, because influenza and smallpox ravaged.
Back then,
ravaged. And, you know, a lot of them were buried there. And there was an unmarked mound in one portion of this, because it was abandoned. It was totally weathered. You didn't know where anyone was buried, except for a couple of the standing stones still left. And the sensitive went over to the one area of the cemetery, a small little plot on top of a hill. And she broke down and cried profusely. She couldn't stop. And I asked her, I said, well, what's going on? Why so emotional? What's going on? And she said, there's a little girl who died in her coffin here. She was buried alive.
Oh.
Right. And we all know about the dead ringer bit. But you know, this was probably a family that didn't have a lot of money and couldn't afford something like that, and you know, thought she had died and she was still alive.
That's horrific.
I know. Yeah.
I got that clip of Brady going into the room if you want it.
Okay, here we go.
I shared the wrong screen. Right, sorry, hang on. I shared the wrong screen.
You can also get this by doing spirit boards as well. I've had it a few times, the same emotion.
So Claire's just about to tell Brady to go into this room now. She's saying, go in there and see what you think. So here we go.
I said, go in there, you're sensitive.
Yes, someone's unexplained now.
He wouldn't go in and he felt sick, didn't he? He wanted to get out. Matt just walks in.
I heard him sort of saying, oh, and he got out of there. Did he stay in there or?
That lighting now.
Oh, there's beef.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably
He
used
said in the corridor he felt sick.
Yeah.
Because I always keep an
But
eye on Brady because he turns
oh,
quite
sorry.
quick.
I thought that was the clip where he went in there, but yeah. So it's later on. He sort of like
Up
ends
the
up in
corridor.
there. Yeah. Just
But
see what we got then.
Brady can get quite. I've done quite a lot of things with Brady, and he could get.
He is.
They seem to go for him quite a lot and affect him and make him feel
Hang
quite
on.
sick.
Here he goes. Right. This is the correct clip. Oh, hang on. What have I just done? Right. Oh, sorry. I had it on share. Sorry. Bring it back up again. This is the bit I meant to bring up. Sorry. Here we go.
No, you can. As soon as you get here, you can.
So he walks in.
Right.
Oh no,
Yes.
no.
Feel it.
Yeah.
I can feel this.
That's not right in there. Something.
No, something happened in here.
Something happened.
My stomach's gone already.
It made him feel sick, didn't it?
Yeah.
This is sort of like where you go.
That was strong in there.
Mm. So that's what sensitive people they kind of get that, don't they? It's like they just sort of
Feel it.
Straight away.
And when they're bang on, they just totally freak you out. Like
I've freaked a few people out of my life, believe me, and I
Yeah.
didn't think nothing of it. And I do a lot of stuff which I don't tell people about. I do go and do people's houses and do house clearings, and people that are really experiencing haunted stuff. And there's one down the road from me, just where I am now, Matt. And she came and knocked on my door one night and said to me, my kids are seeing someone sitting at the end of the bed. They've seen a man and they've heard voices. It's freaking them out. I said, all right, I'll come down. And I went into the house and just stood there. And I turned around and said to her, I could feel something above me. There's something here. And she in the loft. And I'm feeling the energy from it. And she went, there's nothing there. I went, well, I'm telling you now, I feel something in that loft. I said, I'll do a clearing. I picked up her mum. I picked something up, some messages. I give her that. I did a little clearing. I did work 15 minutes in there, do what I do. Left, come home. A day later, she rings me up. I've just put a pram on your doorstep. I said, what do you mean? She goes, well, I went in my loft and a while back we went to a charity shop and I bought this old Victorian pushchair. She said, I've put it on your, I don't know if you could get rid of it, but I don't want it in the house. I put it on your doorstep. I'm like, oh, right. So yeah, I was right. It was up there. That surprised me. And she put it on my doorstep, but I took it to a haunted museum. And after I'd done and removed that, her son, her children, I can't remember everything clearly, but didn't have no problems again. And she thanked me just by feeling that I could feel that there was something up there. It was weird, but I didn't know. And I argued with her in her own house to say, yeah, there's something there. And she said, no, there isn't. And then she got her husband up there, I think. She said it was empty, the loft. There's nothing up there. I went, well, I'm feeling it. But it was causing a problem. It brought someone in who probably had an attachment to that item. And I believe that items have attachments and people attached to them and that they can bring things in and they could cause mayhem. I believe in that. I'm a strong believer.
Yeah.
If you watch The Haunted Collector on YouTube, I believe. I am so funny about things like that. If you have a bit of furniture or an item from a charity shop, even a book, anything, it can bring things.
Absolutely. I was working with we had a sensitive that we brought into a horse ranch. It was on the old Hiram Walker ranch, which is a whiskey family here in Canada. And during Prohibition, you had the likes of Al Capone showing up here, bringing his batch back to Chicago. But the current owners there called us in because they were having a whole bunch of weird stuff going on. And I said, okay, well, I don't want you can tell me whatever you want, but I don't want you saying anything to anybody else. Just keep it on the low down. I'm gonna bring somebody in, and we're gonna bring them into the one barn where they're having a lot of issues. And she walked in, and I said, okay, go ahead, do your thing. Right. She started talking, and explaining what she was feeling and what she was getting and all that kind of stuff. And it ended with somebody somebody hung themselves in this barn right here.
You can normally
Exactly right here.
feel that.
And then the owner broke down crying and saying nobody knew about that.
Wow.
Nobody knew a damn thing about that. Not even the employees at work here had no idea about this.
See, sensitives,
Yeah.
there are different with me because it's natural from I'm going 3 years old. It's always been there. And I remember from very little, as long as I can go back, different feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I had the same thing when I was younger. I went into my friend's house and someone hung themselves on the landing. I knew. I was very young then. I was 9, 10 years old. But the thing with that feeling, it is a certain feeling. If anyone's sensitive that's watching and you are sensitive, you'll know. You can tell sort of what's happened from the different feelings you get. It's so strange, and I don't know, it's just naturally built in. It's the strangest feeling ever, and I don't, no one will ever understand that feeling you get. I know when someone has literally died, committed suicide, they're two different feelings. It is strange. People that don't have any feelings at all will look at you and think you're absolutely bonkers. But hey, that's it.
Smith, keep an open mind, but you're not so open, your brains will fall out.
Yeah. I'll be back in a second.
Yeah.
Honestly, the different feelings you get when you're sensitive, and I'm a bit, I could be, but people tell me I'm a medium. Now, I can't work as a medium because I'm a bit ADHD, which is my brain's
all over the place.
I can't channel well, and I get bits come in, and I will help people, and I can work with spirits. I could do clearings. I've come across demonic stuff. I've come across really bad stuff as well.
So let me ask you, when you say demonic, give me your interpretation of demonic.
Stuff that probably I believe hasn't even lived before, and I think it's next level. I've come across it, and I don't think, no matter how psychic sensitive them things are very hard to challenge and work out because you don't know what they are.
Yeah.
And I've come across what I would say is a evil spirit, which is someone low, malevolent, has gone over, say they were a really bad person in real life, and they go over and they're still a bad person, and you're picking up that energy, the low energy. You've brought them up on the board, and I could sort of tell the difference of that. But there is next level, which I've had a few things happen that I've thought, wow, this is different, and I'm messing with something not to be messed with, because you don't know what you're messing with.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm very aware now when things start to happen, or the patterns of things on spirit boards, the patterns of energy. I know when to stop or quit it, or because I know that you're playing with fire, basically. And
Have you ever been in a situation where you said, okay, look I maybe need to step out of this. I can't handle this. Maybe somebody else needs to deal with this, or you didn't feel safe. You just didn't feel like, okay, I can't continue. I need to stop.
I've never. This is the weirdest thing.
Yeah.
I've had a few quite bad things, but I must admit, I've never been scared.
Mm-hmm.
But it's made me stand back and go, what the hell is going on? And with doing stuff with something you can't see and you don't know what you're dealing with, you're always open to risk, and always I'm prepared to take that risk to learn and find out stuff. And you know, I sort of, how can I put it? I've never scared. I was scared if I hear a bang and I go, ugh. But when I'm challenging or coming across something that I've not dealt with, I think, Matt, how can I explain this? Like, you've told me things about you've seen stuff that weren't right. And at the time, you don't feel scared, do you? Feel like it's weird, a weird feeling. You
It's
want
like
to
a
learn.
fascination. It's like, you know, there's
Mm.
something's not right, but it's a fascination.
Yeah.
Like, I have once or twice in my life, I can't remember exactly where, but I felt like something feels wrong.
Okay.
Like, get out of here, this feels wrong. But most of the time when I've seen paranormal things, I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
what's that? And I'm looking at it, I'm like, don't take your eyes off it, you know, like, don't even blink, because it might go, you know. I'm sort of like, I try to train myself a little bit to kind of, you know, don't overreact. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, what's that then? But the worst thing is, like, you're often so fascinated. I've had this with a massive UFO thing. We could have filmed it. We had camera gear with us, you know. But me and my mate were going like, wow, wow,
Yeah.
wow.
That's it.
So much that, you know, you don't think, get the camera out now, you know.
I've had that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is a weird feeling. And as I say, if you're going to be doing paranormal, you've got to be, I don't know, you've got to be willing to take what you're given. You're opening stuff up. You're digging for things that are beyond what we know, and you're going to get things that we don't know. And so you've got to be prepared to take it, and you've got to be putting up with, like me, where I pick up energies. You could bring stuff back with you. You need to be able to cleanse. You need to be aware of what's coming in and out. Where I'm psychic and open to spirit, I know if something walks in my house, I'm that open to it. I feel energy so much changing. I do cleanses. I do little ritual things and things to clear all the time, because I'm working with stuff I don't know if it's malevolent. I don't know if it's human, been in a human form ever before. I don't know what it is. So you've got to be very aware.
See, Matt and I have a handicap when if we're sure if we're going to be in a scared situation, and that is the coined phrase.
My hands go into like Triceratops
it's
hands.
Scary. Yeah. It'll make the hair on your head stand up. Unfortunately,
you ought to hear what it does to my husband when he gets scared. He nearly poos himself in the house.
Yeah.
He's actually ran and screamed, "Claire, help me!" And I'm like, "You're the man here. You're the one running past me, leaving me with bags." And I'm like, I've been worst experience I had. Well, it weren't bad. The most weirdest one was in Warwick Castle in the UK. Laying in a room. It was about 3 o'clock in the morning. It was still dark, very calm night, no noise, no wind, no nothing. The spirits had like faded down a bit and weren't working as much. So we were sort of laid on the floor, like laid out flat, like on the floor, looking up to the ceiling. And I'm calling out still. And I'm like, oh, come on, spirit. You're not doing nothing for us. You're boring now. I'm going to fall asleep. Lol was literally snoring. There was another couple on the floor just laid there, literally looked like they were dead. And I said, come on, do something then. And just laid there for a minute, went all quiet. Next minute, oh my goodness, in my life, this is the worst thing that ever happened to me. They're big windows in Warwick Castle. The whole windows went shh. Like I could never explain to you the sound of that and the rattling it done that was so strong, like an earthquake. We all jumped up and ran out the room. And I don't do things like that. And I'm like, hey, what am I doing? Why am I running? I've asked for this. It was a calm night. Me and my husband could never explain, or them people in that room with me, what it was. And it was the weirdest thing. And I, to this day, don't think that was human, because I don't know. It was weird. But that's what I mean. What you're messing with stuff you don't know what you are opening stuff up. You're going to get stuff that you've never had before. Now, people say, "Oh, that'll never happen." I'm telling you, never ever say never. That's what I say to people. Never say never.
Yeah,
like it's a true saying.
I mean, some of the sounds that, like, you know, EVPs, if you will.
Oh, wow.
that have come through in some of the locations that I've been to, and then you go back and you review the audio and you go, wow, okay, that's insane. That just
It
sounded
is.
so malevolent, so
Yeah,
evil.
you do get them come through. And it's
Yeah.
crazy. And you think, whoa, you know, what are we dealing with? But you don't get home till you go back on everything and you look at it, don't you realize how much risk you are taking when you hear stuff like shouting, they're going to kill you, get out.
Yeah, like I said,
Yeah.
like you, I mean, I've never been in a location that I've been afraid to
Mhm.
be in, and I don't get that way. I just I don't overreact. I mean, I remember one time when we were in Waverly Hills Sanitarium,
I'd love to go there.
and we were in there, and they have this thing where you do the walk. It's called the walk, and literally you just walk from one end of the building to the other, and we're talking 800,000 square
I've
feet.
seen that.
I
I've
mean, it's
seen it.
humongous place, and they get you to walk. They get because we actually got in on a private investigation. Thankfully, I knew one of the people who work security there, and we made the arrangements for a private investigation because they always have the pay a ludicrous amount of money to go in and investigate for 3 or 4 hours. It's like I'm not doing that. But thankfully we got in without having to do that. But like I said, they have you have to walk from one end of the building to the other in the complete darkness. And that when we were there, it was about 104 Celsius. It was about 104. No, sorry, 109 Celsius. Celsius. It was like like an oven.
Yeah.
It was August. It was dead heat. There was no air, no wind, and it was just stifling. And I think I played some of the stuff for you, Matt, with the Waverly ball. Did I play that for you?
Don't know.
Oh my god, let me see. Hold on.
Mm.
Let me see if I can pull it up here. And basically, the one thing was to walk from one end to the other, and unfortunately, the footage isn't the best because this is from 2004, and so basically, we had a ball propped up like an old rubber ball propped up on a quarter in one of the rooms that a boy named Timmy apparently interacts with people. And we left the ball. We had a coin. It's sitting on a coin and chalk circle around it. So if it moved, it would scuffle up the chalk mark. And we had one of the CCD cameras trained on one of the security cameras with night vision, but unfortunately, it's not the best. But anyways,
Oh,
did
yeah.
I think I
I
played
think
this for you.
you showed it to me. It sort of went off and then came back.
Yeah, here.
And yeah.
Okay, so I'll play.
Yeah, I
For
do
you.
remember a little bit about it. Yeah. Yeah. Shit memory, folks.
I got that too. I
Unless,
told you.
unless it's happened to me, it's hard to remember sometimes. Yeah.
Okay, so there's the ball there, right? Sitting there.
Yeah.
I'll just fast forward it a little bit to where it starts moving on its own. Like it's just suddenly, and then just kind of rocks back and forth. Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
And as this is going on, we're in the next room doing an EVP session, and we'd come back and check on the ball. See, there you go, there you
Wow.
go, right? And we'd come back and check on the
I
ball.
can see that.
Sorry,
That's crazy.
I can see that.
yeah.
That's
I've
crazy,
done
man.
similar experiments, but I've used balloons.
But the weird thing about this is when we went to check on the ball, it hadn't moved. It was just sitting there on top of the quarter.
That is
And
so strange.
but the weirdest thing is it returned back to the quarter. When it stopped, it went right back to the quarter, sat right back on the quarter. and when we got back and went through all the things, the audio, and we captured this. Let me see here. Pull it up.
Yeah, you have shown that to me before, and that is an absolutely classic bit
Yeah.
of footage. That fair play.
That is good footage there. You just showed us.
Yeah. And like
It's good you caught that.
yeah,
It's so hard to catch stuff like that.
Exactly. We were doing a oh, hold on, let me just pull it up here. Okay. We had two recorders in the room next door. And we were asking, the boy Timmy, can you bring us, we had a little tennis ball in our room. And it's like, can you bring us the tennis ball? And hold on, I'm just trying to find it here. Okay, here we go. And so anyways, here's the first EVP. This is from the one recorder. I'll play it. I'm just going to load them both up here so you can play them. Okay, so here's the first one here.
Did you bring that tennis ball to us?
Could
Why haven't
anybody please make a noise?
Did you bring that tennis ball to us?
I love them ones.
Yeah, okay.
Where is it then, or something?
So here's the other recorder positioned in the opposite side of the room, and this is what it captured. And as you in that recording, you can hear the front loaded voice, and you kind of make out something else being said in the back, but you can't make it out. Where this one, the front loaded voice, you can't really make out as much, but the secondary sort of, it's like a little bit clearer. And let's see.
Did you bring that tennis ball to us?
Could
Wow.
Did you bring that tennis ball to us?
Does it say behind your back?
It's you hear behind your back, but the end, it kind of what a lot of people seem to think it says, the one you like.
Yeah.
The one you like. So, but in the front loaded, people seem to think there isn't a ball. There is no ball or something like that.
There is no spoon. You mean?
No spoon? Yeah.
There is no spoon.
No spoon.
Yeah.
I've had some good EVPs, but I'm not very good on techie stuff, and I can't show you my video. But I've had some good stuff.
Yeah.
Like talk to me when I've been on my own in a house in the middle of the woods in Cornwall, and I actually called out to a man. The man who died in there had schizophrenia, and he died, I think, in the 70s. And I'm calling out to him and play it back, and I say, "Are you going to talk to me?" And he goes, "Not at the moment, so and so." I stood there and I literally froze. I was on my own. I couldn't believe I got a clear voice coming straight back at me. But EVPs are amazing if you can get them. But I actually lost my voice recorder and left it in house somewhere, so now I ain't got a good one.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So
I'm going to have to go at least.
yeah, I was going to say, we're going to probably end it anyways, but Claire, get your info. And I did put the link for your YouTube channel.
I put the wrong name up. It's on my old account and I didn't change it. It's Urban Paranormal Oxford. So
okay.
Lots of videos on there, lots of abandoned places. They're all different videos, and you will see the paranormal videos are different to the abandoned. There's a lot of different work I do when I do venues than what I do in houses, because I'm obviously working better. Obviously, I'm a bit like in the house, out the house when it comes to abandoned paranormal.
I've subscribed, so I've been watching, and some cool stuff. And
I've got some cool stuff coming up, guys, because obviously I've been out with Matt, I've got a few other videos of some houses that are amazing that I've been into. And also, I've just, as I say, done a venue in the UK the last night, which was the most amazing paranormal I've ever picked up. And another one, it was drawing. I've got the board here, but I don't use it when I go to the abandoned places. Now, I'd love to. Now it's a drawing board. I'll let you know. It's going to be coming up the video, and the team got the board, and it's drawing. It's drawing absolutely everything.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
interesting. And you said, oh, Hope Paranormal is that website you said where that
Honestly, the bloke, some people are like going, what a load of rubbish, but you have to try these things out.
I'm always up
and
for trying
experiment
whatever.
before you start making a judgment and
Yeah.
see if there's any, which I'm still doing because it's new to me. And yeah, I've had some crap come for it. Sorry, my bad words, but I've also had some good. So I'm going to persevere with it. Try and do it a little bit longer on the abandoned places and see if I can pick a bit more stuff up. But yeah, you need to try new things. It gets boring otherwise.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot for coming on, Claire.
Thank you. I am shattered. I've not had a lot of sleep. A black eyes actually is showing.
We'll have to bring you on at an earlier time next time.
I know, it's like this time's fine. It's just that I've
not as long as sleep.
been out all night doing paranormal.
True. Okay, take care.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. I just need to know how to get out of here now. Leave studio. Bye.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. That was cool. That was awesome.
Yeah, we did a 16-hour stint up to North Wales to do some of this stuff the other day. But yeah, Claire will probably go through the footage, and if there's anything in there, we'll hear about it, because I don't review the footage like going over it like with a fine tooth comb. Yeah. But it's interesting. Sometimes people have said like squeaky chair.
Do you hear that?
Yeah.
Do you hear that?
Yeah, it's trying to talk to me.
So what? It's
what do you want?
How long of a drive is it for you?
Lassie is where? down the creek. Okay, I'll be down there now. Right. Sorry.
How long of a drive is it for you to get up there to Wales?
Well, I had to drive 2 hours over to Wales, then another 3 hours from my dad's, so it was about 5 hours.
Oh, okay.
Claire drove 3 hours to get to me, and then we went the extra 3 hours, so she was 6 hours.
Oh, wow.
Then we do 4 hours of stuff up there, 4 or 5 hours of stuff, and then drive another 3 hours back, and then she had another 3 hours back on top of it. So she did crazy amount of hours. But I do this, we all do it. It's people don't realize it's like you get a tip off, like this place is open, this place is available, like go and do this. And, you do these like amazing sort of like days of just crazy amount of hours.
Well, I mean, like you said, it's cool when some of these locations become available, if you will. And that one that you're showing us the footage from, that's just insane. How that's the condition it's in. But it was a pretty neat location.
Yeah.
And you said it was overlooking a lake, was it?
Yeah, crazy looking lake. I mean, a really pretty place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's too bad it goes to waste like that. But hey, what are you going to do when you're like health wise and medically and probably money wise, probably just didn't have what it took to upkeep that place.
If you want to see, I'll show you a preview that not even the channel viewers have even seen. So here we go. If you want to see it, I'll bring it up.
All right.
You got it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So that's the house. Hang on. Come on, baby. Why is it not playing? Why is it not playing? It's not pressing play. Oh, there we go.
Oh, wow. Look at that. That's incredible. Wow. And I mean, the roof doesn't look like it's in bad shape at all.
The roof is much better than the inside of the house, but there's the lake.
Oh, wow. That's incredible.
Yeah.
That is nice. That looks really cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So yeah, that's that place.
That is
Yeah.
awesome.
We had I tell you something you might be interested in. Like we had booby traps in a location. The owner had placed booby traps. Do you want to see some booby traps?
Sure.
Right, here we go then. Right, I'll bring it up for you. Oh, hang on. I didn't share the system audio. Hang on. Share screen, entire screen, and system audio. Share. This one. Share. Right, so it's this one. Have a look at this now. We're just about to walk up the stairs, and literally this is what we see.
Oh, I can't believe what he's done there. He's put traps in your lip.
Yeah, I've just stood on one.
He's hidden.
Oh wow.
Wood. Right. So if he complains at all about this video, I'll be reporting him to the police.
Wow.
Cannot do that. You arsehole.
Wow.
You want somebody to end up with a bloody
Kid.
screwed foot like a child. Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, man.
Jesus, Murphy.
What do you think of that then?
That's insane. But I mean, come on, you don't get that very often, though, do you?
No, but he had there were multiples of those. It was all made exactly the same, and then we found him a few of them around the building. Claire stuck her foot on one. It went through the trainer. She felt it against underneath her foot, and she just went and stopped.
Oh, she's lucky.
She's really lucky.
Yeah.
She literally nearly just went douche through her foot.
Jesus.
That lucky.
And
I'm like, really? Do people, I mean, like secure the place, get security on it,
Exactly.
If people are coming there all the time, obviously you're not doing a good job. It's not, you don't sort of go, oh, well, I know, I'll just injure them and then I'll be in court with like assault charges, like for booby trapping the place, because I'll be in court then, and then I'll get in the newspapers as being the guy that booby trapped his hotel. And
Yeah.
everyone, like, what the hell are you thinking?
I know.
So
obviously this place is well explored. I mean, there's a lot of people that go into this place.
the kids love it, and that's
Yeah.
the thing, is the kids keep on ripping it open, because we went there previously, went all the way to North Wales to see that place.
Yeah.
Went there, and the owner was actually there screwing it up, and we waited for him to leave. We had to wait like 3 hours for him to leave, and when he left, we went round.
Yeah.
He's like, oh shit, it's all screwed up. So we went away, so we went home empty-handed. So we'd gone all the way up to North Wales and all the way back, and we had nothing to show for it. And then we heard other people have been going in. We're like, okay, well, somebody's gone and opened it up, then let's give it a go. It's probably going to be open. And we went up and we were lucky, but then we were lucky, but with booby traps. Yeah. So,
Hey, you know what?
Yeah.
Most people wouldn't even think to look for shit like that. And it's a good thing.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
Don't worry. These are steel toe caps. Don't worry. I wouldn't have stepped on one. Both my orange trainers and my normal trainers are safety boots, so they've got protection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's a no-brainer going into these places, no matter what. You should be, right? I mean, you should be wearing good footwear, because I mean, you have to anticipate, even if it's not done on purpose.
Yeah.
There's always going to be some sort of hazard. Always.
Yeah. I mean, footwear is very important, but I mean, some people just wear cheap trainers, like just a foam layer, and it's not a good idea, really. But I've never seen anything quite as nasty as that. I mean, well, actually, I've seen it once before. Underneath a place where people would climb over a gate down the other side, and they put a load of nails on a piece of wood, so that when they jump down off the gate, bang, nails all the way through your feet. And I took that and threw it into the field. I said, fuck this, they're not having that. No way.
Yeah. You don't want to see somebody do that, man. That's almost as bad as COVID, man, coughing in your face.
Yeah. But I mean, kids are very inquisitive, and you're looking to it, like, literally some of that could be life-threatening, because if you end up like puncturing an artery, you could kill somebody.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's no joke. You know,
Yeah.
you trying to trap somebody, and you do trap somebody, you're going to be like 20 years in jail. You know, because you killed them. But hey,
Yeah, some people, I don't know. Insane. And that's, yeah, you have to take precautions just in case.
yeah,
Yeah.
Steve got a nail in his foot.
Oh,
Exploring within.
wow.
Dinkum Aussie's just put up in the chat now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. He got a nail in his foot, but not too bad. It
Okay.
didn't. Yeah, but this is the thing. I mean, you know, it is dangerous.
Mhm.
These things we do are dangerous, but you know, we accept those risks, and yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, it's a no-brainer though. I mean, yeah, good footwear. What else would you suggest? You should be like gloves. What do you figure? Gloves? Same thing, gloves?
Yeah, gloves ain't really that thick sometimes. You know, like wearing really thick like leather gloves is going to restrict your movement so much you probably wouldn't want to wear them. And like the smaller gloves I wear because they protect you from scratches from thorns and things like that. You know, but then if you push down on something, it's not going to help you, like glass and things like that. It's not going to help you. So yeah.
Mechanics gloves.
You know, it is a risk. It is definitely a risk. And, you know, I think, yeah, Angel would have stopped you opening up your leg.
Huh?
Oh. Angle covers would have stopped you opening up your leg. Oh, right. Angle
okay.
covers.
Yeah.
Right, okay. I don't know what they are.
No, I've never heard of those. Never heard of those. Oh, yeah.
It's like angle for like angle grinders, you know, like
Okay.
so you don't end up angle grinding into your leg or something. But yeah, because
Ah,
I went through a window once, and
okay.
I put my foot in. I put my foot in, but my foot dropped, and
Yeah.
it dropped onto a piece of glass. My foot dropped onto it, and I went, oh! As I came out, it just went gash, and it slashed my my back of my foot, my ankle. It slashed the back of my foot right open. Still got the scar there now. Had to go and get it sewn up, but I was so lucky it didn't cut the tendon, because if it cut the tendon, you know, I'd have been in big trouble, because that's hard to heal. So, yeah.
Interesting. Interesting. Any more footage? What footage would you like to see, Green?
Yeah, get some more footage on.
He's talking about more footage. Footage of what? He might be talking
Have you got any
about
more paranormal footage?
I've got it all over the place, Matt.
See, I'm really bad with memory unless I'm there and like seeing it and going, whoa, you know, somebody else showed me something, I go, whoa, and then I forget it. And like you'll show it to me 3 times. It's like I never can remember anyone's name. They go like, oh, my name's John, and I'm gonna go, oh, are you Pete? Are you Dave? And it's like, but three times getting it wrong, and I start to get it right. So if he shows me this footage enough times, I'm going to remember it. So yeah.
Yeah, but the footage from the stream, that is wacky. That's just crazy, insane. Just
the stuff when you were yeah, afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah, that just didn't make any sense. The direction,
Well,
everything.
it does make sense if you're used to that type of weird stuff, you know, because I think what you caught there was a real thing, you know, something that's sort of like moving around, is just zoop, just shot off.
Do you have any? I mean, I have some, and but I don't know about you know, zooming it in and clearing it up a bit, if so we can maybe see.
I'm going to try because I was looking at it earlier on. There's a plugin for Premiere which I have had in the past, and what it does is it doesn't look at anything that's moving. Sorry, it doesn't look at anything that's standing still. It only looks at movement. So it shows you if you move your hand, the hand becomes the footage. So like it shows you anything that's moving. And so like when you're talking, your mouth will be moving, and then the object will be moving, but you wouldn't see anything else in the frame. So it helps you isolate movement.
Isolate the movement.
Yeah. And I can't remember what the plugin is called, but I have used it in the past, and I thought, oh, that would be good because it will show me, you know, what's moving, only the movement. but I will work on it. Yeah.
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 I'll do the same on this end. Yeah, that's insane. Very insane. Very insane.
But
I'm
that ball rocking back and forth, man, that's good stuff.
Isn't that
That's good
incredible?
shit. Yeah.
Here we are driving home. It was about a 14-hour drive.
There you go.
And we
Dedication.
left.
You know?
We I think we left at 4 in the morning. 4 in the morning. And we're just sitting there going, nothing happened. Nothing happened. Didn't get anything. Nothing. Blah blah blah. What a big letdown. Was really hyped going in and doing and being able to the opportunity and to capture whatever, I don't know, personal experience, if you will, but nothing unusual personally. But when you get back home and you go through all the footage, I mean, we had literally like hours upon hours upon hours of footage. And I think we had about seven security cameras going for 5 hours. So you figure a lot of footage, but I totally overlooked that. I am like, nothing happened. And then one day I went back and I looked at the other camera and I said, I'm gonna go through this footage. And I went through the footage and sure as shit, I'm like, holy crap, it's moving. It's really moving. It's not giving you the impression that it's moving, it's actually moving. Almost like in a playful manner. It's just really weird. And here it is sitting on top of a quarter and then, returning to the quarter, you're like, okay, nothing happened. It didn't move. And there's no scuff marks in the chalk. So I'm like, okay, nothing happened. But it did move. Weirdest thing. Weirdest thing. I did have some, I don't know if I think it's on my other hard drive, but I had some, let me just see if I have it here. I don't think I have it on this hard drive. Let me see. No, I don't think I have it on this hard drive. I've got,
I did try to get Brady to come up, but I think he probably went to bed as well. I was like, "Oh, Brady, come up and tell us about what you felt in that room." But
okay.
Yeah, didn't get any response.
Okay, I have this. This was taken in the attic of that farmhouse I was telling you about, where I captured the little girl reciting the prayers or whatever. This is taken with a full spectrum camera, and I don't know. It could be nothing, but it just seems kind of weird that it's just in that concentrated area, and it disappears when people move. It could be the camera. I don't know, but I don't know. Maybe you'll have an idea. But here. So you see the movement in the center, slight movement.
Oh, like under something.
Yeah. Okay. So the roof, and there's a window at the far end there, and
like a shadow underneath something.
Exactly. Yeah? And let me see. I'm gonna move it. I'm gonna move it to when they move. Okay. So wait. Okay. So
nice butt.
Yeah. So they moved by the camera, and that kind of disappears, and then it comes back again. So I don't know. It disappears again,
Hmm.
and it just seems to be in the shadow. Now, this could be nothing. It could be the camera's processor. I don't know. Trying to understand the darkness, but it's it's a full spectrum camera. Shouldn't be doing it. See, there you go. There. So I sort of change it to infrared, and if you notice,
It's all over the place, that
yeah,
footage, though, isn't it? Fucking
yeah.
hell.
So I don't know. It's only in that one area. You figure if it was a problem processing the darkness, then it would have been all of the darkness, and not just in this one concentrated area.
Looks like some sort of codec thing is kind of like bouncing the footage around, doesn't it?
Yeah. See, that's what I'm thinking. But just found it quite unusual. I've never had that issue with this camera before.
Mm.
Right. See, it disappears. But then again, it might have something to do with the light that's coming into the room. But yeah.
I don't know. I think the codec is probably garbling it up a bit.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking it had something to do with the processing. I don't know.
Yeah,
just odd.
Because the thing with processing of video is it what you cannot see, it kind of like it whooshes it away.
Yeah,
it kind of gets it away, and like any bits it can see then that are moving, it tries to sort of amalgamate them and predict what's moving, and it's what they call predictive processing. It says like, oh, I think you're going to move there, so I will actually move you there. And even if you haven't moved, like it's why you see sometimes people's faces will come off themselves. People's faces will come off and go across there, and then and suddenly come back. Chunk. It's because it goes, oh, I think your face is meant to be over here, sir.
Yeah.
So it's like it starts drawing your face over here, but it wasn't there, and it's like, yeah.
Wait a sec. Where did my face go?
Mm.
Yeah, that's weird. Yeah, it's just
not too sure about that one.
Yeah.
But yeah. No. I could have a look at a bit more.
Now I need a refill, Matt.
You need a refill.
I need a refill.
You need a refill. Why not?
Are you okay? You'll be okay on your own for a couple seconds. Okay, hold tight.
We'll chat to the chat. The chat to the chat. Yeah, who we got then? Steve got a nail in his foot. Yeah, that's right. What about the glass on top of a wall in one of your videos? I can't remember which one that is now. Shit. That's quite a common thing in the UK, is that they put glass into cement. So like on the top of a wall, when you go to climb over it, it'll all be pieces of glass stuck into cement. They do that. That's the thing. Yeah, you get that in the UK. I don't know if in other parts of the world that's the thing, but they definitely do it here in the UK. I don't even know if it's legal, because if somebody got injured, they'd probably get done for it, because it is kind of entrapment. But yeah, so no, I fully intend to report that. I haven't got round to it yet, but I fully intend to report that booby trap to the police, and just say, look, you have to have a chat with the owner, because I know that he's probably pissed off with all these people coming in and taking photos and videos in his place. But there's a difference between securing a place and being pissed off with people and then going actively out of your way to try and injure them. Because what's the difference between him actually running up to you with a baseball bat and whacking you on the head repeatedly with a baseball bat? What's the difference between that or hiding a trap and you end up with the same amount of injury? It's the same. It's the same injury. So the guy is out of order, I think, for doing that. But I am going to report it to the police because I don't want to see anybody injured in that place. You know, if he wants to stop people going there, then secure it or sell it, because he's not doing anything with it. You know, so if you can't handle a place, if it's beyond your capability to handle it, then get rid of it. It's obviously stressing you out. You wouldn't be putting booby traps into the place if it wasn't stressing you. But don't be putting traps there to injure people, because you will end up in court. And it will be a very expensive exercise, that one, I'm sure, you know.
Yeah. That keep your feet from the threat. Cheers, Matt.
Cheers. Cheers, me dears.
So how many places did you guys check out that day?
4.
4 in total?
Yeah. 2 really crazily open houses, which, you know, you just walk straight in and literally just go straight in through the doors. The back door was open on one and the front door was open on the other. Then there was the hanged person's house, which was equally open, but we had to climb in through a window. Sorry. And then the hotel, which we'd come to before, couldn't get in. Went to that one, went round the back. He'd sealed up all the windows, but then we realized that there was a door open. So some kiddies had gone in and opened the door. And that was a dark old place, that was. Whoa. I mean, it was like, open a door into one. This is the weird thing. We opened the door into one room and it was like Rapunzel, like fairy tale castle. Like the bed was done. Everything was perfect in this one, and I repeat, one room. Then all the other rooms were like Armageddon. Yeah. So I think he kept this one room spotless for some reason. And we think it might be because this guy comes there and sleeps in this absolute shithouse. He sleeps in it every once in a while. So he kept one room like immaculate, and then all the other rooms were stuff strewn and thrown and whatnot. But like there was one room, we opened it and it was just like the beds were like piled with pigeon shit. And I was just like, oh yeah, 5-star accommodation. You know what I mean? It's like, what the hell is this?
Bed and breakfast in this beautiful, luscious, the rolling hills of Exapan. What is it? Wales?
Yeah,
Wales
Tywin. Yeah. Yeah.
And overlooking the lake. Yeah.
But it's just weird because you think to yourself, why are you keeping this place like it's disintegrating? Why are you actually hanging on to it? Why don't you just get rid of it or do something? Why are you hanging on to it? It's like these like I was saying earlier on, I've had people in my family, they live in squalor. But to them, it's not squalor because they don't connect with that. They go, oh, I have fond memories of this place. This is where I grew up. I've had this place for years. And when it turns to shit, they don't see it. You and I can see it, but they're not seeing it. There's like this kind of like the filter comes down, and they're going like, oh no, I could do something with this. This is it's worth money. I could do something. They're fooling themselves. They're literally just playing a game with themselves and just fooling themselves.
I'll just do a quick dusting. I should be fine. Oh my God. It's too bad because a place like that could look, it could be so warm and homey like, and it's such a like just the flyby, the drone footage is just incredible. And it's too bad. It's too bad that the person let it go that way.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about letting it go that way. I think it
Wow.
probably was always that way, but
Yeah.
yeah, just never ever bothered to try and kind of make some effort, to kind of
Do you think it's
modernize it.
Do you
But
think
that's
it's
my standards, you see, because I say modernize it.
Yeah.
To them, it was probably fine,
yeah?
So
Do you think it's too far gone to even think about renovating a place like that?
well, I think it could be easily renovated, that
Yeah.
place. Yeah, the roof is on, it's dry,
hmm
and all they have to do is rip up some floorboards, some rotten floorboards, just rip off the walls, plaster the walls. Yeah, you could make that into a really nice place. It'd
Yeah.
be amazing place. But I would think they probably want a tarmac up to the house, because unless you want to be driving a
4x4.
4x4 up there, it was
Yeah.
even be tight for a 4x4. It was like such
Yeah.
a narrow little road. It probably even a 4x4 would be going off the edges. But
Yeah.
such a shame. I mean, like, I could imagine looking out on that lake. But do you know what the funny thing is? I've got to say, because I got this melancholic love-hate relationship with Wales,
Mhm.
right? And that house didn't feel happy. I don't know why. I'm just going to throw it out there. The house did not feel happy, but the location should have been amazing and felt happy, because it's like you got rolling hills, valley hills, steep valley hills, and just like amazing view.
Mhm.
But it just didn't feel happy. Really
Yeah.
didn't. So I don't know whether or not a lot of paint and like cleanup would quite make it that sort of magical place.
It would
I don't know.
still have that darkness, you think?
Yeah, I don't know what it was. I was just looking at it. It was. I'm like, I'm in this environment. I'm in this thing. I'm
Mhm.
not like in this happy place. I'm in this thing. I'm exploring a thing.
Mhm.
And to me, it's kind of like, hello. It would have taken a lot of work
Mhm.
to get everything up to spec. But if somebody had loads of money, they probably could do it. But yeah, the house was there.
Yeah.
It's a bit sad as well when you think like somebody hung themselves, and that's like, oh, I'll do that up and I'll live there. That'll be fine. Somebody hung themselves here. It's like do it. It's
And do
kind.
you
Yeah.
know the full story of the hanging, or no?
Just
Just
apparently hung himself in the lounge off a chair. So
I
right by
wonder
that
if
piano. Mm.
I wonder if it was that sort of that darkness or that dreadness that you were feeling drove him to that.
Yeah, it's a weird thing is I didn't really want to spend a lot of time in there,
Mhm.
because I don't know whether that was unconscious, but as you can see, I was like, okay, I'm finished. Because I really haven't got a lot to say about a place like that. It's like this is so out of kilter with like
Mhm.
what you expect to see. It's almost like as if I didn't really want to delve into it. It's
Yeah.
like there's so much more I could say about how horrible this place is,
Mhm.
but I just don't really want to go there. I just want to let's just get out of there. Maybe there was something there that didn't want me there, because I felt that, kind of like, right, okay, film, this is horrible. Right, I'm finished. Right, let's go. Because I was done with that place. You know what I mean?
Mm.
I don't know, it was a subconscious thing, but I was like, yeah, I'm out of here. I'm done. I'm happy. I filmed now. I said, I want to get out of here.
Was
Horrible.
everybody like that, or just you, do you think?
No, I think Claire stayed there a little bit longer, but yeah, I just felt like it wasn't a good vibe. So even though there was this beautiful lake and everything, I just felt like oppressive, oppressive feeling. Could have been something there, could have been some sort of overriding feeling that I wasn't fully consciously aware of, but I was like, yeah, nah, not cool place, you know.
Yeah, that's yeah, it again, it's too bad. It's just but places like that, there's been a few places here that I've gotten that feeling going into, and you never really know if it's just maybe the condition of the house just seems to spark that, or just overall the sense of it being there, period, or the land.
Yeah.
Something happened and just,
Dinka Mozzie says, yeah, Matt was the first one out of that place. Yeah, I was like, yeah, I've seen enough, just like, in some ways, I want to be awed by how amazingly old it is. But I was just going there, I was just like, oh my God, it's just like everything about it just felt like, oh yeah.
even smell, like were there horrible smells too?
No smells, but it's
smells?
just like, really, I can't believe that you were living like this. It's just like, my God,
Yeah.
just
Well, as you pointed out, behind closed doors, right?
yeah.
Some people.
The guy killed himself as well. Like, I mean, it's just like
That in itself would add more to it. Yeah.
it didn't feel like somewhere I wanted to hang around, spend too long. I probably could force myself to go back there and spend some more time and do a ghost session and things there, but it was just one of those things. It was like, yeah, I've seen enough. This is crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, it is crazy because you see like medicine bottles out there like 1930s or something. I was like, what is this shit? What?
Yeah.
What is this even doing? What? Look at the way you look.
That's
look at this old shit. I'm like, what? What are you doing?
All of it too, not just some things, but all of it. But
everything in the place was so old. Just like, whoa.
Like that.
It just like felt like I was talking to you were like communing with somebody from the 1800s, not like the 1900s,
Yeah, just imagine that place. Well, it just sitting all by itself, quiet, and if you were to put some equipment in there, what do you? It would most likely pick something up, something very unusual, right?
Could well do, yeah.
But I mean, the problem with that is, excuse me, there are others that are exploring that place, obviously, right?
Well, there probably are, yeah.
You probably couldn't leave equipment in there with it, with trusting it would stay there. That's the problem.
True, yeah.
But
yeah.
But just imagine though, I mean, if you even had like a security camera or something, a night camera in there hidden.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff, but you'd never know, obviously, if somebody came into the house. But
well, you could stay around. I wouldn't be adverse to doing something like that. But we were on a time schedule because we'd spent so many hours getting up there. It was like we were kind of like, we want to do as many things as we can.
Yeah.
That day. So there was that going on in the back of my mind as well. Like we want to try and get this other place, and the hotel was the prize. That was the prize that we really wanted to see that place, because that's what we'd come for before, and we hadn't managed to get in. And we were saying, let's try and get there when it's daytime, because it's on a big, busy street. Well, like for a Welsh town, busy enough.
Yeah.
But we we're going to be shining torches around, and I was aware that everyone's going to see, like, the hotel's going to be like light, going through the windows, and they're going to probably call the police, and we've got a limited amount of time. So I thought, if we get there when it's light, we'll be okay. We got there when it was dark, So we'd already missed our opportunity. Like, we got there when it was light before, but the owner was there, like, screwing wood onto the windows. But yeah, we ended up getting around the back and we got in, you know. But it's a good video. I think it's a really good video, but it's quite hectic because we're aware that somebody might have seen us, and that owner only lives down the road, and he could have seen us. And then it turned out I was looking out the window. You'll see it in the video, and I zoom in. There's a woman, and she's literally on her phone. She's standing there, and
There's
there's like,
people in there.
Fuck, there's people in there,
Oh.
you know. And she's standing there like outside, and I just went, shit, time to go, you know. And we had to get out there really quickly, and it was quite hectic, you know. The whole explore was very hectic and a lot quicker than I would have liked to have done. You know, I would have liked to have spent more time, but it was, we were on borrowed time in that place, you know. So, and talking about borrowed time, could you give me about 20 seconds? Although that 20 seconds in my world is actually 2 minutes in real life. So yeah, I'll be back now. Right.
Yeah.
See you in a sec. Cheers.
Yeah. Incredible. Okay. The footage was really, really cool that he played at the house. The drone footage. And oh, wait, hold on a sec here. I'm gonna pull up no, I'm not gonna bother with it. There's no point playing it again and just reiterating. But I mean, the whole point, you know, in the beginning, you know, I want to thank Claire again for coming on from Urban Paranormal Oxford. I would love to have Claire back on in the near future as well. Yeah, some intriguing stuff. I check out her channel too. Really, really cool stuff. And I have to explore it a little bit more because I just recently subscribed to it. So I'm going to take my time.
55 seconds.
55 seconds.
Oh, by my counting, anyway. Right.
I was just telling people that, you know, I just recently subscribed to Claire's channel there, and just I have to take some time and explore at some of the stuff she has posted. I mean, I've seen some of the stuff, but she's got quite a lot of stuff on there, so I'll have to take my time and explore what she has. So
yeah, Claire's very dedicated to what she does, and you know, she does it, you know. She's getting up to about like 2,000 subscribers. You know, she's trying really hard, and you know, it is what it is with paranormal stuff. You know, it's hard work watching through paranormal. You know,
it is hard. You know, because there's so much crap out there, so much stuff out there that just, it's not worth it. It just really isn't. And you know, obviously with the TV shows and everything else that are just, people have to understand it's entertainment, but some people it's you know, their dedication is to wanting to know exactly what's going on. It's not, you know, it's not the money.
It's upsetting. It's upsetting when people kind of like, you know, they obviously like throwing things in there, you know, and putting stuff in, you know. And it's like every video has something crazy in it. You know, it's like, yeah, people who would really do paranormal stuff, they know how long and how many times you do things before you get even the slightest thing that's kind of like on camera or
rare.
Yeah.
You can sit in a place for hours upon hours and nothing happens. You know. That's what I said with, you know, giving you the example of Waverly. You know, just sitting in there for hours, you know, 5 hours, and really nothing. It seemed like nothing happened. You know, and the biggest problem with that place is you go into that place, and you have people saying, you know, telling you all these local lores about this and the hype and everything else, and you try to put that aside and say, look, I want an open mind going into this place, you know. And it's kind of hard when you got the locals going, oh yeah, I remember being in there when I was a kid, and you know, telling you all these stories, you know. So it's tough.
Well, Mrs. I've got to go to bed is still in the chat.
I know. I saw her. I saw
Oi,
her.
get back up here. Come on.
I saw.
Yeah, you can't. She's drifting off in bed now, listening to us. So it's like, oi, oi. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's what, 2? Well, it's almost 2 o'clock there, right?
Yeah, it's almost 2. Yeah. But
We gave her a second win because she's editing now.
Jesus, so you are awake. That's even worse. You're actually admitting that you're awake now. You can't. That makes it worse, Claire. You can't just like, oh, I have to go. I'm so tired. I gotta go now. Oh, I'm just sitting here editing now. All right, that's it. Right. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
But yeah, I would love to explore some of the places that you've been to over there, because I mean, like I said, the history is just so enriched over there compared to here. I mean, there is history here, but not nearly as far back as obviously the UK and many places there in the UK. So, and Europe, period. Just
I really would like to go back to what's classed as the most haunted pub in Bristol that we did. And this is where we felt like the pressure, the temperature, doors were banging, like, things, it was like a weird sort of sensation, like we were being watched. And it was really, that was quite bizarre. And I've been there a few times and had weird experiences in the place. And they're going to turn it into a hotel now. And it's like,
wow.
oh, great. So I thought, well, I could contact the people and say, look, we would really like to come back. We've been there a few times. We'd really like to come back, but could we come back with permission now? Because it's very locked off. So, we're not going to get in there. It used to be you had to climb up over some boards and you could get in. Now it's all sealed. It's all very sealed. But I would like to say to them, look, could we get in there? But, I'm kind of thinking, like, when you ask somebody who wants to build a hotel somewhere, can we get in there and prove there is weird ghosty shit going on? They're going to go, we don't want that, because we want a successful hotel. It's like, well, yeah, you might have a successful hotel, but it ain't going to be a successful hotel in the way you think it's going to be, because maybe it's going to be a successful hotel because everyone wants to come there to do ghost stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
So maybe you have to like embrace this into your like business model, because you're buying a very, very special, weird, known place. So have you prepared for that?
I know. A lot of people when you contact them, like I've contacted a lot of places, and they flat out say, no, we don't want that attention. We don't want any of that attention. And one of the big theaters here in London, Ontario, the Grand Theater, the guy who was running it, he says, yeah, absolutely, yeah, come on in, we'd love to have you see what you get. I'm like, okay. The guy who used to own it, Ambrose Small, he owned two theaters at the time, way back in the day, that one and another theater in Toronto. And it is thought, because he just got up and vanished, just disappeared one day. And some people seem to think that he was killed and buried in one of the in the walls of one of the two theaters, and they seem to think it's the Grand Theater. And what's really weird, we were there, we investigated it actually a couple times, the Grand Theater, and I remember the first time coming home, we left, and we were probably about not even 5 minutes on the road. I get into an accident, a really, really fucking bad accident. I was going through an intersection, and all of a sudden this white car comes out of nowhere, goes right through a red light, and I T-boned him. Right? And it turned out it was a cop. Yeah. Wow, what a mess that was. But I'm like, okay, is this a part of the Ambrose Small curse? You know, you sit there and you
Mm.
think about that. Oh, do I want to go back? Because I mean, this happened this time. Do I want to go back? I ended up going back and nothing happened, obviously. But these things, they make you think.
Mm.
You know,
Was that all cleared up? You know, like did the cop didn't play like silly buggers and say
well,
like I didn't do anything wrong?
it
You know.
it turned out he was a rookie. He was a newbie. He was fresh, and they were hiding him because he did make a mistake. He ran a red light, didn't have his cherries on, nothing. Just whipped right through an intersection without proper notification,
Mm.
and they were going to charge me with reckless driving or some shit like that, speeding, and I'm like, I wasn't speeding, I was doing the speed limit, and I had a green, I had the right of way, you know. So they were trying to damn this because I think they were waiting to see if I was going to sue them, and it was going to get to the point where I was going to sue them if they didn't start releasing the information, because they were taking their time releasing the information. And I said, look
Mm.
at, man, I'm getting to the point where I'm just going to sue them. And then I sat there and go, well, I could do that. Then they'd probably make my life a living hell, because then you get into a whole different can of worms when you sue them. So it was a mess, but yeah, finally got cleared up. Finally, it took a while, but it finally got cleared up.
Mm.
But yeah, crazy.
That's good. Yeah, because I know that when you have interactions with the police and how they behave, it's like dealing with a mob sometimes, you know.
Absolutely,
But,
yeah.
Mm.
Like, you're automatically the bad guy, even though the cop made the mistake. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They're gonna hide and protect their own, and that's exactly what happened here.
Yeah.
You know, that's exactly what happened. So, but thankfully, yeah, it got all sorted out, and we moved on.
Yeah, but you do get those types of things. I mean, I have some days. I don't know. Do you ever feel like this, Steve? Right. Sorry about the fucking squeak. It's like
Mine does,
it's like
but
added emotion, is it? Like, do you ever have, Steve, this type of feeling? You know. But no, seriously though, do you ever have types of days where you think like a number of things have just gone wrong?
Mhm.
You know, like this has gone wrong, that's gone wrong. I literally have like a sort of instinct feeling like I'm just going to go home and do nothing today because I don't want any more shit to happen. Do you ever have days like that?
Oh
Like,
yeah. Oh
yeah,
yeah.
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 Like today is
Nothing
not the day.
nothing is
Tomorrow will
going
be
right.
okay.
Nothing's
Yeah.
going right today.
So I'm just going to
Nothing's.
go home before like a mega shit happens.
And
you know?
that's when you just sit down and you go, I'm just gonna take it easy. It's been a bad day.
Yeah.
And
just
then
put my feet up.
you go to turn the TV on, and the converter doesn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah, damn.
Yeah.
Or the power goes out. You know, no, you can't do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have days like that, and I'm just like, do you know what? Today is not the day. Today is the go home day. Shut the fuck up day. You know, like just don't push your luck day.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, there's definitely been days like that. And you sit there and go, I can't believe it turned out the way it has.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Matt, I'm gonna end this. I got a few things I gotta do. But
Okay.
I want to thank you, man, for coming on again. Always great to have you, and always great to chat with you. And of course, having Claire on, it was a blast having Claire on as well. So I look forward to having you both on again. Absolutely.
Well, in the back of my mind, I'm just like the big thing that like keeps going round and round in my mind is like, was that Gareth?
I know. When you said that, it just brought chills to my bones, man. When you said that, and I'm like, wow. Who knows? It could be, and if it is, wow. You know, it's just an amazing thing. You know, of course, you look at and I always look at this and say, look, if I hadn't have met Gareth, well, I didn't personally meet him. Unfortunately, we're set to meet up in person, but he passed away before that. But if I hadn't have met him and became friends with him, I wouldn't have met people like you and Ben and all sorts of people that were regulars on his show, and all the people that come in to chat here and listen to the show now on a regular basis, and that connection, that always goes through my head. And when you said that, it just brought chills, and I said, look at it, it's just really weird because there's that connection. Matt, I didn't know Matt until I didn't know about you until after he had passed away. Like, I know I think I remember him mentioning your show, I think, to me before, saying you got to have him on the show, sort of thing. But it was just in passing. It was never like, oh yeah, gotta have him on, sort of thing. And like I said, it wasn't until after he'd passed away, and you're taking the collection for his family and stuff like that, and and people, oh, Matt, yeah, the secret vault, and looking into the channel, I'm like, hey, wow, so yeah, it just brings chills.
Yeah, well, I'm sure he'll be back again, trying to sort of like get through if it was him. So
absolutely,
Gareth,
yeah,
if you're out there, talk to us.
Yeah, send us a sign, Gareth. Was that you? Awesome. He always said that, though. If
He would try.
he would try, and perhaps he did. You never know. You never know. But on that note, Matt, thanks a lot, man.
Thank you very much.
Have a great one, my friend.
Thanks for having us on.
Yeah, take care, everyone in chat.
Yeah.
Thanks
All
for
the
tuning
best.
in. All the best.
Sorry, we don't always read the chat as much as we should, but thank you anyway.
Take care, everyone.
All the best. Cheers now.
Good night.
Bye-bye.